You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Well, right now on Fox 17 News This Morning, 3 inmates broke out of the Sumner County Jail. 2 still on the loose in Gallatin. We're going to tell you what police say those in the area should do. Representative Mark Green officially announced he is going to run again for Congress. I'm going to tell you what convinced him to keep going.
And the weather here keeps going this entire week. We've gone from warm, stormy, very cold, and now we're back to some rain showers. I'm tracking for you in your Code Red forecast.
All right, Greg, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us here on Fox 17 News This Morning. I'm Justin McFarland. Congratulations. You made it to Friday and to a new month. It is March the 1st. We are beginning with breaking news this morning as the Sumner County authorities say 2 prisoners are still on the run. This is after escaping from the Sumner County Jail in Gallatin overnight. Now, police say that they are looking for at least 2 of these men right here on your screen. They posted these photos on Facebook saying that a 3rd prisoner is already in custody. Now, the 2 prisoners still on the run on the other side of your screen there. They are the 2 people there, William Rutherford there on the screen, and Kenneth Campbell. Their photos on the left and also on the top side of your screen. Elvis Bush, he is the one on the bottom right. He's already in custody. Now, police are asking for people in the area to please lock their doors and call the Sumner County Sheriff's Office if you notice any suspicious activity. That number right there on your screen. We are working to learn more about 3 overnight shootings in Nashville as the Metro Police say that the shooting is taking place over in Antioch. This is on Eagle View Boulevard. 1 person has been sent to the hospital. They say a second shooting happened on 9th Avenue North. 1 person there was hurt. A 3rd shooting happened, and we saw at least 1 person hurt. This is taking place over on Star Boulevard. That is in Madison. Now, we're following all 3 of these shooting scenes, and we'll get you updates as more information continues to come in. We are following more breaking news this morning, this time out of Sumner County yet again. That's where crews say they are reevaluating the search area involving a missing Sumner County teenager as the search now enters its 5th day. No one has seen 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers since he left his Shackle home, his new Shackle or Old Shackle Island home on Monday. Now, hundreds of volunteers are searching that particular area. Now, take a look at some of the maps here as they are continuing to expand the area that they are looking in. Investigators have been combing through several pieces of land using drones, ATVs. They're on horses and helicopters. They're putting every resource in to locate Sebastian Rogers. We have a crew on the way to Sumner County, and we're going to have an update on this story coming up here at around 4:30. In the meantime, let's get to Greg Bovis. He's standing by with a look at your forecast that includes some rain for some parts of the mid-state.
That it does. You know, just when we thought we caught a break yesterday and got dry now, here we go again, more rain showers, but lightning indicator always turned on. That's the biggest thing for us in the morning is, are we going to hear the thunder? Are we going to see the lightning? Are we going to be woken up by the rain? That's not the case today. Now, here we go. If you look toward areas of southern Kentucky, we have Clarksville up through Hopkinsville. We do have some decent rain. The heavier rain always will be the yellows, oranges, and reds, and that's what we're seeing through portions of southern Kentucky. I got poured on walking to the car today. Grab the umbrella. Please do it. Not a lot of rain in Nashville now, but all these showers moving from the bottom left-hand side of your screen to the top right-hand side of your screen. So keep that in mind. On and off showers are going to be part of our forecast the entire morning, afternoon, and evening hours as well. So that really is the big story for us. Coming up in the next check of your forecast, we'll work you through when this rain finally ends. Warmer times for the weekend. We'll plan it hour by hour, then look ahead to our next thunderstorm chance going into next week. Justin?
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning. We're doing just fine as we get started, even though we do have some rain out there. This is going to be I-40 at the airport, I-40 at Donaldson Pike. You can see traffic over there moving along just fine. Keep in mind, they're doing a lot of construction over on Donaldson Pike itself once you get off at the exit. But getting out there this morning is no problem. We don't have any accidents anywhere across the interstate system. Some other accidents may be happening on some of the secondary roads roads. We're going to get to some of that coming up here soon. But so far, it looks to be good. Maybe an accident on the north side we just picked up. We'll get to that coming up in a few. Let's turn to politics this morning. Just weeks after announcing his retirement, Representative Mark Green is now once again running for re-election. Now, the congressman from Tennessee told Fox 17 that he had accomplished all he wanted to there in the United States House of Representatives a few weeks ago. He says he wasn't worried that a Democrat would take his spot, as the GOP holds a very slim majority in the House of Representatives. But now Representative Green says that party supporters and party leaders have twisted his arm. Representative Green will be running against the former Nashville Mayor Megan Barry, who had to resign, forced out of office a few years ago, if she wins on the Democratic side. Well, coming up, a former mid-state deputy has now been sentenced for his role in the January 6th Capitol riot. The arguments from both sides and the sentence that he is facing. And oil.
Enthusiast slash guy who probably should have stopped at scientist.
The Big Bang Theory.
Weeknights at 6 and 6:30 on Fox 17.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Operation Crime and Justice, a former Williamson County Sheriff's deputy, has now been sentenced to nearly 6 years in prison for his part in the January 6th Capitol riot. In court yesterday, it was Ronald McAbey who told a judge that he's sorry for all of those who lost someone that day. Prosecutors claim that he dragged an officer on the ground and into the crowd and hit another officer who was trying to stop him there on January 6th. He was sentenced to 5 years and 10 months in prison, but will get credit for the 2 years that he's already served. Well, we are following continuing coverage this morning of construction issues happening over in the Gulch. An oil leak that spilled over cars has businesses very worried that customers will now avoid this area.
The review stated, guests are talking about it. It's hard to walk through construction zones and, still hard to sleep for some of our guests.
Well, that is Barry Volkers. He manages a hotel there on Division Street. He says he has had to resort to handing out earplugs to guests. His latest problem, though, is an oil spill. NDOT says that the hose spilled over the crane and showered the street below with lots of oil. The brewery CEO, Christian Spears, says that the long-term construction blocking sidewalks and roads is a big issue for his business.
So if you can't have foot traffic to a hospitality-style business, then what can you, how can you survive?
Well, Yates Construction, through a spokesperson, told Fox 17 News that a subcontractor with the crane was involved with that oil leak, and that subcontractor has cleaned up the roadway and is reaching out to those who had their cars damaged. We're used to rain, not used to oil, but this morning we're getting a little rain coming from the sky. Here's Greg.
There are certain things falling from the sky we're used to, others we never want to have to see. This actually is kind of a good thing right now because we have not had a lot of rain the last 2 weeks. Obviously, 2 days ago, we were a little bit more on the active side, but now this morning, light to moderate rainfall, no claps of thunder so far, but wet pavement. Not quite as cold as yesterday morning. We're not talking teens for wind chills, and warmer later today. But grab the umbrella because today, this afternoon and evening will also bring a few more light rain showers. So keep that in mind. Slow start to today. I would just say be cautious heading out the door today and also for your evening drive because there will be the on and off rain showers. You might be driving along and you're all good to go, and then all of a sudden a blanket of rain hits you really quickly. That is how today is going to be. Keep that, again, in mind. All clear, though, when it comes to code red. Nothing there. Warmer later today. Look at your 7-day forecast. Here it comes. 52 degrees later today, 64 tomorrow, 75 on Sunday, and 70s continue on Monday. The weekend is gorgeous. Please make your plans now because thunderstorms return Monday into Tuesday.
Clear traffic for you this morning at 4:11. Quick look here at an accident that we just picked up as soon as we came on the air. This happened right around 4 o'clock. This is a crash on I-65 near the Fern Avenue overpass there. Our cameras are looking at the crash coming from I-65 towards I-20. 24 right there near the junction there on that north side. A car facing the wrong direction. Police have arrived there on the scene, and an ambulance is there as well to try to take care of that. You can't get by, but just take this more as a warning than anything else, that the streets can be very wet out there in some parts, so please watch out for that. As we continue on, we'll let you know exactly what else we find with Steer Clear Traffic live through 9. Well, former President Trump as well as President Biden both visited the southern border with very different opinions on how to stop illegal border crossings. And in another part of Texas, wildfires hitting record.
The trucking company and the insurance company are not concerned with the victim. I was worried about being able to pay my bills. I enjoyed you representing me because I knew I had to have the best.
4:14 is the time. Live look there over downtown Nashville, Tennessee. Beautiful view of the capital city there of the state of Tennessee. We're looking forward to a gorgeous weekend. That's what Greg has promised. So we're going to hold him to it. We're going to hear from him coming up here in the next few minutes. He does our weather, by the way. President Biden, as well as former President Donald Trump, both toured the Texas southern border with Mexico yesterday, and they presented very different visions for trying to tackle the issue of migrants coming across the border into the U.S. Now, President Biden visited the Rio Grande Valley, spending time with some of the agents there, talking about their needs. He urged the United States House of Representatives to take up a bipartisan bill that would secure the border, he says, by adding more money to security packages down there on the border. He also called on former President Trump to stop his blockade of that bill. In the meantime, former President Trump also down there on the border. He was over in Eagles Pass. That area has become a flashpoint for the border security standoff between the state of Texas and the Biden administration. The former president is pinning the increase in immigration crossings on President Biden and claims that the president's policies are fueling a rise in migrant-related crimes. Well, the United States State Department says that the U.S. is now urgently seeking more information on what took place after more than 100 Palestinians were killed in an incident in northern Gaza. Now, according to the Palestinian Ministry of Health in Gaza, Israel Defense Forces opened fire at civilians who were gathering around food trucks. An Israeli official told CNN that the IDF troops did use live fire, but said it was in response to the crowd approaching the forces in a threatening way. The State Department spokesperson, Matthew Miller, says an investigation is now underway.
We've seen the reports from the government of Israel. We've seen accounts from local Palestinians who were on the scene. We don't have ground truth on what happened. We know what we've seen people say publicly, and we're seeking more information and looking for the results of the investigation.
Now, the State Department also expressed condolences to the families who have been identified and who have lost someone in this particular attack. He says the incident underlines the importance of expanding the flow of humanitarian assistance into Gaza, including through temporary ceasefire agreements. A former U.S. diplomat who once served as an ambassador to Bolivia is now pleading guilty as working as a spy for Cuba. We're talking about Manuel Roca. He was in court yesterday for a hearing on how to handle classified documents in the case, but instead, the 73-year-old confirmed he reached a plea deal with prosecutors. He is due to be sentenced coming up on April the 12th. The United States Justice Department says an undercover FBI agent had recorded Roca calling the U.S. the enemy and bragging about being a Cuban mole for more than 40 years. More to come on that story. In your community, a treasured Nashville restaurant has bounced back. It was once on the verge of closing, but now it's been honored by the state. We're talking about the Ellingson Place Soda Shop. It received a state proclamation yesterday honoring its place in Nashville history. The restaurant has now been around for around 83 years. It has fully been renovated and is going strong right now. Fans of the soda shop have bragged about their burgers as well as their milkshakes and the pecan pie and all kinds of other great things that happen over there at the soda shop. As we go to weather here, I was there for their grand reopening after they did all their renovations. People were thrilled that they were around, Greg. They almost shut down entirely.
And so many things are leaving town, or, you know, we're seeing the closing of the old and the brand new stuff here and there. So to hear a story like that is just... Anyone really who's been here even longer than me, I've not been here that long, but you've been here for a long time. It's got to feel good.
Yeah, it's going to be around for generations to come. Hopefully the rain won't be around for generations like that.
If we can keep it just, here and there every once in a while, that's perfect. But no, we do not want it all the time. We've had quite a bit so far this week. Taking a look, where we're seeing the rain most prevalent right now is some of the areas that saw our first thunderstorms 2 mornings ago, Hopkinsville down through Clarksville. This is the big key, though. No thunderstorm activity. This is some decent rainfall in the areas that are orange and yellow, like Hopkinsville and Clarksville, but all the areas that are shaded in green. Look at how well disorganized this is. You can't really put a line through any of this. Pop-up showers are going to be like this throughout the morning, afternoon, and the evening hours. So what I would tell you right now is grab the umbrella, give yourself a little extra time this morning, and know that it's not going to be done within, you get a shower and then that is it for the day. No, this lasts throughout the afternoon as well. Taking a look here on Future Track, and I'm going to prove it for you. Here we go, this morning into the afternoon. A few more showers. Honestly, the rain picks up a little bit more in the Nashville area going into the 6, 7, and 8 o'clock hours here when most of our traffic just starts hitting the road. By 11 o'clock, a little bit better. Afternoon, not that much rain coming down, but definitely still a few isolated showers. Umbrella, keep it handy, but this rain, it's a good thing. It really will bring in some warmer temperatures for Saturday and Sunday.
Steer clear traffic out there for you. Let's take a quick look, if we can, at that crash we're following on I-65. It's near the Fern Avenue overpass, but that's really where the camera is. The crash itself is right at the I-24 junction to I-65. As you make that turn, it would seem towards Trinity Lane. So if you were coming from Metro Center, going down that ramp towards Trinity Lane, you guys know where I'm talking about. That seems to be where that crash is. A car facing the wrong way, unsure if it's spun out or not. But crews are there on the scene to deal with that. We'll continue to follow it, let you know exactly what else we have with Steer Clear Traffic live through 9. Firefighters in Texas, in the Panhandle in particular, are seeing some relief as they battle what is now the largest wildfire in the state's history. Officials say that snowfall and lower temperatures yesterday helped to slow the spread of the Smokehouse Creek fire. But strong winds will return this weekend. The fire has burned through more than 1 million acres, not just in Texas, but in Oklahoma as well. According to the Texas A&M Forest Service, it's only 3% contained right now. The Texas Governor Greg Abbott is scheduled to visit the area later today. Well, coming up, a historic day for the city of Nashville and the Tennessee Titans. We're going to take you to the groundbreaking for that brand new Nissan Stadium that's going to have a roof over top. We're going to tell you about some of the new features and what local leaders have to say.
And we've gotten a lot of compliments from our friends and family.
And the house really feels like a home now.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
4:24 is the time, a historic moment for the Tennessee Titans as they officially broke ground on a brand new dome stadium. Now, this project has been years in the making, and it will be years more before we fully see it, as it will not be ready to go until 2027. But some milestones are coming sooner than some might expect. Up to half of the stadium on the outside is expected to be done before the 2024 NFL season. The rest of the outside structure is planned to be complete by 2025. At the groundbreaking ceremony yesterday, Governor Bill Lee put the focus on economic benefits for the stadium construction and all it would bring to Tennessee. Former Titan Eddie George had his own take on this. Listen.
I think the future's bright. You know, Amy made a commitment to be here for another generation, however long that is, a new lease. And I think the organization is doing everything they can to be a Super Bowl contending team, and I'm really excited about the moves that they made. Country stars like Trisha Yearwood and Garth Brooks also joined in on the groundbreaking.
as they are emphasizing that they're excited to play music in that new stadium one day. And that stadium will provide a lot more than just football to the community. Again, 2027 before it's done. Well, it was a wild matchup last night for the Nashville Predators as they took on the Minnesota Wild at Bridgestone Arena and blew them out the water. 6-1 final score down there at Bridgestone Arena. Here's how it happened. The Preds were already up 3 goals. 3-1. They were up 3-1, not by 3 goals, up by 2. 3-1 by the end of the second period. Already a respectable lead, but then in the third period, they turned it on. They added another 3 goals to get the 6-1 home win for the Nashville Predators. A great night for Roman Josi in particular. He had 1 goal and 2 assists. And just so you know, the Preds are currently in the second wild card spot for the Stanley Cup playoffs. They need to hang on to that if they want to compete for Lord Stanley's Cup at some point here in the spring and summer.
And taking a look here at 426, we're dealing with some more rain. This has been a week. Every morning waking up to something totally different, and this time around we're back to rain and cold temperatures combined together. All of the rain moving from the bottom left-hand side of your screen to the top right-hand side of your screen. I'm going to zoom in and show you that the Nashville area looks good for right now. However, if you're in Dickson, Columbia, Lewisburg, Linden, the Clifton area, even Paris, if you get far toward the west, we're seeing rainfall, but not seeing anything when it comes to thunderstorms. That's the good news here. So Nolensville, 20 minutes or so. The Franklin area in 10 to 15 minutes. Light, steady rainfall. That's the same with the game this morning. This is not a thunderstorm activity kind of morning like 2 days ago when we had the thunder rolling all the way through the area. But Hopkinsville, look at the oranges and the yellows moving into your area. You've already had some decent rainfall, but the heavier rain, I mean, we're talking minutes away here. In the next several minutes, we'll continue to track into the area and then move back out. So Katie's, Hopkinsville, even Clarksville, we saw the brunt of those storms move in 2 mornings ago. Clarksville, you're good for right now, but you're not good for the entire morning. I'm going to track the rest of today. More showers are possible throughout the entire day here on this Friday. Justin, how's steer clear traffic looking?
Well, we are following one thing this morning, and that is a car over against the guardrail. This is as I-65 meets I-24 as you make that drive down from the Metro Center area towards Trinity Lane. That's where that crash is. Authorities are there now trying to get it out of the way. Hopefully everybody's okay in that area. Not causing big delays right now, but just take it as a warning. These are the kind of things that can happen with wet streets out there. Well, coming up, the Speaker of the House in Tennessee is accusing local leaders of intentionally keeping teachers and staff in the dark about the school voucher bill.
In every district, our Crisis in the Classroom series digs deeper into issues that are crippling our schools. Watch Crisis in the Classroom only on Fox 17 News.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Well, now on Fox 17 News This Morning, a new bill would allow state leaders to hide tourism records for 10 years. We're going to tell you what this could mean when it comes to oversight. And a private school was planning a big new building. We're going to tell you what it could mean for students in that area.
And no rain right now downtown, but definitely showers across Middle Tennessee and Kentucky. We're going to continue to follow those here in your Code Red forecast.
Thank you, Greg, and thank you for joining us here on Fox 17 News this morning. Congratulations, you made it to Friday. I'm Justin McFarland. It is March the 1st, by the way. We are beginning with some breaking news as we are now into day 5 of a search for a missing Sumner County teenager, and crews are now reevaluating their search area. Let's get out to Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar, who is live to tell us exactly what crews are looking for there in Sumner County.
Well, they're looking for that missing 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers, who officials say is autistic and has been without medication for days. Yesterday at a press conference, the sheriff's chief deputy says that they've covered 2,000 miles already. And officials also say that Rogers could be out here in this cold with the risk of hypothermia. But I want to go back to talk about what search crews have been doing over the last 5 days. If you want to take a look at your screen, those are the maps showing the footprints of where they have gone here in Sumner County. They have been searching for the teen on foot, using drones, canines, cars, horses, aircrafts, anything they can to find Sebastian. Officials say they are now expanding west, but ask people, even in Davidson and Robertson County, to be on the lookout and search in pairs. Eric Craddock, the chief deputy of Sumner County Sheriff's Office, tells us more. Take a listen.
We are truly operating under the assumption that there's a child missing that needs our help. So if the public is out there and you have a house close by or not close by, right, check your property twice a day.
Sebastian is 5'5", 120 pounds, was last seen on a Monday wearing glasses, black sweatpants, and a black sweatshirt. If you have any information on the whereabouts of the teen, they ask that you contact 1-800-TBI-FIND or 1-615-451-3838. Reporting live in Hendersonville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, Karen, thank you so much. An update now on competing school choice bills that are making their way through the Tennessee legislature. Now, the House Speaker, Cameron Sexton, is accusing local school districts and union leaders of not telling teachers about the House bill because they are against vouchers. Now, speaking to reporters just yesterday, the Speaker says that teachers have been told that they'll get more money and pay less for insurance and be forced to do so, be forced to do less state testing if they will support the House bill. But critics say the lack of an agreement between the House and Senate and the governor on how to universally do these vouchers is reason enough not to do it.
Superintendents will want it, teachers will want it, people want it. They may disagree with choice, and that's fine. But the impact of 20,000 scholarships, especially in counties where there's currently ESA, is a minimal impact. Even if you have universal choice in all states, at most it's 5% that use it.
I think it is destined for conference committee. And look, you know, if we get to conference committee and the only thing that gets pulled out is the vouchers, it might not be a bad thing.
Now, Speaker Sexton says his meeting today with county school superintendents and school board members are going to try to explain this bill to them to try to get support for it. A loss for open records is now advocating as a bill that would allow state leaders to conceal certain tourism records is now moving forward. This one had a little bit of a debate, though. The measure allows the state to hide details about negotiations for 10 years. Now, critics say that means if state dollars are used to wine and dine potential tourism groups at fancy hotels or fly them on private jets, you won't know about it until it basically doesn't matter anymore. State leaders say they need this kind of freedom to land big events like the Super Bowl. Let's get to Greg Bobus. He's standing by with a look at your forecast here that does include a little rain.
That it does this morning here. A little bit warmer than yesterday, but not by a lot. We're here in the 30s instead of the 20s, but taking a look here on top of the radar, there are some scattered showers that are out there. This is just run-of-the-mill rain. This is not thunderstorm activity. You can see our light to moderate rainfall pulling through the Gallatin area up toward Portland. The heaviest rain we're seeing so far to kick off this morning is in southern Kentucky. We get up toward the Hopkinsville area. You go through Katie's. We're seeing a little bit of decent rainfall. Nashville, we had a band that pulled through. Now that's what is in the Gallatin area, but we're not done. Dickson through Centerville and Columbia. This will pull toward Nashville in the next half hour. We're going to see on and off rainfall this entire morning, afternoon, and evening. Grab the umbrella, get ready for it, maybe leave a little bit early just to help yourself out. How are temperatures looking? This time yesterday, we had a temperature in Nashville of 28 degrees. Right now, we're at 42. So a little better, but definitely umbrella and decent jacket this morning. We'll look ahead to your weekend, help you plan it all out coming up in a few minutes.
Still clear traffic out there for you this morning at 436. Let's take a look here at Cadiz, Kentucky. This is along their main drag. I wanted to show you some of the things Greg was talking about, that heavy rain that has poured into parts of southern Kentucky, certainly making its presence known there in Cadiz and places like Hopkinsville as well. So heads up, if you get out and about, it's going to be wet. It's also wet in portions of Davidson County as well. This is going to be I-65 and I-24. We got a car, and listen, I don't know if the car was going the wrong way or if it spun out and ended up the wrong way. I do know, I've got two eyes, it is facing the wrong way on I-65 and I-24 as you leave Metro Center, go towards Trinity Lane. Authorities are there to take care of it, though, not causing big backups, just something to be aware of. Let's turn to education news this morning. This Franklin Road Academy is now growing. The board released plans for a brand new state-of-the-art upper school building. Now, the brand new two-story building would have 32,000 square feet. The plan also includes an environmentally friendly green space for students and the school community. The existing upper school building will be bulldozed at the end of the year to make way for the new developments. Well, coming up, an Air National Guard member has pled guilty to leaking classified information. We've got more on that case. Plus, the very latest as Democrats in Washington are pushing for a Voting Rights Act.
With 27 competitors.
This is the biggest tournament of champions ever.
Weeknights at 5 on Fox 17.
4:40 is the time. Jack Testera is a Massachusetts Air National Guard member accused of leaking classified military information online. He is now expected to plead guilty. Now, according to court papers filed yesterday, prosecutors are asking the judge to schedule a change of plea hearing on Monday. Now, the 22-year-old previously pled not guilty to 6 counts of willful retention and transmission of national defense information. Each one of those counts could mean up to 10 years behind bars. The information leaked included intelligence on the Russian war effort in Ukraine and North Korea's race to develop nuclear weapons. Very sensitive information. Moving on now to Washington, as Senate Democrats are reintroducing the John Lewis Voting Rights Act as they are trying to make an advancement with that particular piece of legislation. Now, the measure would restore and strengthen the Voting Rights Act of 1965. The Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, is calling the particular piece of legislation critical, citing a 2013 Supreme Court decision, the Shelby County versus Holder ruling that struck down the provision requiring certain states to consult the federal government before they make changes to voting rules.
Recent history makes it absolutely clear that we need these protections on the books. Everyone knows what the MAGA Supreme Court did to gut voting rights in the Shelby versus Holder decision.
Now, the legislation has been blocked by Republican opposition and is unlikely to pass out of chamber yet again. Critics argue it would allow the federal government to interfere in state elections. Let's talk to Greg Bovis. He's standing by with a look at your forecast.
That we are. A quick look here, and the next weathermaker is already here. It is the rainy pattern that we have settled ourselves into overnight into this morning. Nothing to worry about, but just the 3 things to know. Scattered rain showers will continue throughout the day. Now, a little bit lighter and more few and far between when we come toward the afternoon and evening, but slightly warmer. We'll take it. 42 right now in Nashville, and then drier for the weekend. Once we settle out of this rainfall, we're dry for Saturday and Sunday. We're also warmer. We're going to have temperatures that will be up near 70 degrees, both Saturday and Sunday.
Steer clear traffic this morning. Let's get a quick look here at I-65 at the Fern Avenue overpass. That's where the camera is. It's pointing back towards I-65, the I-24 junction, as a car was coming down from the Metro Center area towards Trinity Lane, we believe, when somehow ended up against the guardrail and facing the wrong direction. So crews are there dealing with it. Tow trucks should be on the way soon. We'll let you know what else we find as we continue on live and local through 9. Well, coming up, after the nationwide AT&T outage, one state is now investigating the incident. We're going to tell you what it can mean for you. And out west,
treat even more types of cancer. It's true. Keytruda from Merck.
See all the types of cancer Keytruda is known for at Keytruda.com and ask your doctor if Keytruda could be right for you.
4:45 is the time. Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. AT&T is now under investigation for its recent network outage. The New York Attorney General, Letitia James, says that her office is investigating the cause of the outage, and some AT&T customers lost coverage on February 22nd for up to 12 hours. Now, the company's initial report found that the outage was from a, quote, incorrect process. While expanding its network, AT&T is offering a $5 credit, $5 to affected customers. $5. With the rise of AI, there are new fears that robots could soon take over everything. But one healthcare plan is using technology to improve the lives of their clients. Fox News' Eben Brown has more.
In the post-COVID world, there is a big focus on fighting social isolation and loneliness, especially among seniors. A recent study found about a quarter of Americans aged 65 and older report feeling socially isolated. But there are a growing number of tech-based solutions, including AI, virtual reality, and now robotic pets.
We have found many of our members really have increased their engagement. The more the member interacts with the robotic pet, the more of a response the member gets.
New York-based River Spring Health Plans has been experimenting with so-called robo-pets since 2017. They've facilitated dozens of adoptions with their members, mostly with senior citizens, many of whom are seeing both physical and emotional benefits of having a pet without the challenge of pet care.
We have one member who has a pet group in her apartment building in Manhattan, but she never had a pet. She couldn't take care of a pet, so she now belongs to this group and is getting out of her apartment.
The pet's response is similar to that of a real cat or dog, barking, stretching, changing positions in response to being touched. Healthcare providers say so far it has been a win for them and their customers.
They really call us less. They have less complaints. There is an increase in engagement with their aide, with their family members, with their friends, and a higher level of satisfaction.
And the robo-pet market is growing quickly. In the U.S., it was worth $1.2 billion last year alone. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
Robo-pets. What will they think of next? Okay, so what is being billed as California's biggest snowstorm of the year started to pummel the Sierra Nevada area just yesterday. Now, the National Weather Service is predicting upwards of 10 feet of snow. 10 feet of snow for the region. Is that right, Greg? 10 feet? Really? Okay. The blizzard compiled with coastal rain and gusty winds is expected to last through the weekend. Okay, so it's going to be very heavy. Officials are urging the residents to avoid the area, avoid the roads, and they expect the snowfall to help bring back the region's snowpack levels, which are currently 20% below average for this time of year. Well, yeah, 10 feet will help. They are expecting around 30% of California's water needs to come from the snowpacks. Oregon State Police are now releasing some shocking dash cam footage showing a distracted driver going over a cliff. So here is the drive right here. The video has been slowed down right there. Wow. Oh, you can see the SUV right there. He was supposed to make a right sharp turn, but never did before he went flying off of the interstate. It plunged 200 feet down an embankment. The incident happened Wednesday before the driver took their eyes off the road. Believe it or not, thankfully, the person who was behind the wheel survived, was able to get out of the car after going flying off that cliff for 200 feet. The driver was helped by a rope to get up the hill. The emergency management office there says that the driver's been taken to the hospital for treatment. Shocking.
200 feet?
200 feet. Now, Greg, real quick, I just wanted to get back. I was asking you about the 10 feet of snow.
Oh, yes.
Listen, 12 inches of snow is 1 foot. So they're going to get, that's why I'm asking. I was like, is that number right? They're going to get 10 feet?
That number is right, and there's a 300-mile stretch that could see up to 10 feet of snow. It's causing snow. It's causing ski resorts to close down. Think about that. You want the snow in a ski resort.
You need the snow.
And they're like, nope, we're done.
This is too much snow for us.
Don't come in, and you can't leave either. They're saying hunker down, do not go anywhere. 10 feet of snow. Back home, we know that a ½ inch of snow can shut down town for the entire day or sometimes the entire week. We're not talking snow, we're talking rain though. Quite a bit of it. Take a look here on Doppler radar. We have nothing when it comes to thunderstorm activities. That's good at least. No thunder, no lightning, no gusty wind. A little warmer than yesterday. Right side of your screen, temperatures upper 30s to low 40s. You get out toward Hopkinsville, Cadiz, Kentucky. Basically everywhere north of the state line, seeing our most decent rainfall. You get south and get back into middle Tennessee. And this is just really some light, steady rainfall that's coming down. Taking a look at the Nashville area, nothing happening yet, but give it a good 10-15 minutes. That rain will move in. The next time you see me, we're getting back on the radar. We're tracking it here through your hometowns, where the rain is at and where it's headed. That's coming up in just a few minutes from right now.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's get you over to I-65 and I-24. Still waiting on the tow truck to come down to help out this car that is facing the wrong direction there as you make that drive down from Metro Center towards Trinity Lane. So heads up if you're making that drive in this morning. This could be in your way, but it's not causing significant backups. Just something to be aware of. We're also watching the very slick conditions out there on the road that Greg's been talking about in places like Cadiz and Hopkinsville. We're going to tell you about some other things happening on the roads coming up in a few. A mouthwash product is now being recalled for its potential to poison children. The Consumer Product Safety Commission is reporting that more than 100,000 bottles of the Heritage Store hydrogen peroxide mouthwash are being recalled. Now, the agency says that the mouthwash includes ethanol levels that could be dangerous for children. The product was sold at various stores and online from October of 2010 to December of 2023. For 13 years, this was sold out there on the market, and they're being recalled this morning. Well, AMC can thank Taylor Swift and Beyonce for a big bottom line boost. The movie chain is reporting that fourth quarter revenue is now at $1.1 billion. That's over 11% higher than last year. AMC CEO says literally all of that increase is due to two concert films. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour and Renaissance, the film by Beyonce, is also being credited for a big boost in revenue. The Swift movie is the highest grossing concert film and documentary in history. Well, coming up, a brand new exhibit freshening up the Country Music Hall of Fame. The country acts that you could soon learn about. And would you attend a wedding in a bathroom? That choice seems to be...
So you wake refreshed for a more productive day. Get 24-hour continuous relief that does not fade. Be wise all, take Zysol at night.
4:55 is the time. Live look there across Lower Broadway. The streets are wet out there this morning. Unsure if this is because of the street cleaning or because of the rain. We do have some rain in the area, by the way, so heads up on that. Greg Bobles will tell you more about that forecast coming up here in just a little bit. He says the weekend, though, is going to be absolutely beautiful. Let's talk about some entertainment news. Some of Nashville's top country acts are celebrated in a brand new exhibit at the Country Music Hall of Fame. Fans can get a look at some of the personal items belonging to Morgan Wallen, Taylor Swift, Oliver Anthony, Jelly Roll, and Lainey Wilson. The American Current State of Country Music exhibit is now open and will run for an entire year there at the Country Music Hall of Fame, downtown Nashville.
4:56, your time right now, taking a look at the radar where the rain is at. Nashville got a little break here for the last 45 minutes, but we're not done yet. Rain coming down here. We have no thunder and lightning here, but I would say in the next 10 minutes, we're going to see the rain begin to trickle back into downtown for a good half hour or so. I'm going to keep the lightning indicator turned on, and as long as it says 0, we're in a happy place to begin the morning, but it will mean wet pavement here for us to kick off the morning. Starting in the upper 30s to right near 40 degrees. Murfreesboro, about 10 minutes or so as well, and then a good half-hour worth of rain moving in toward your area. Light to moderate at best, not a big deal. The big weather story going into our 5 o'clock half hour is going to be scattered rain today, a warmer weekend, and then storms will track into the area for your Monday and Tuesday. We'll start looking ahead to the weekend, but also piece together leading out of the weekend as well.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning at 4:57. Quick look outside at that crash we've been following on the north side. I-65, the I-24 area as you make that drive down from Metro Center towards Trinity Lane. Still dealing with that crash, still waiting on that tow truck to come pull that out of the way. Other than that, though, we're looking good as you take a look here at I-40 at Donaldson Pike. Out towards the airport, a little bit of a backup starting to develop there at the airport exit, but nothing out of the ordinary. We'll continue to watch these for you. Steer clear traffic live and local with you through 9 o'clock this morning. Well, 2 lovebirds in Kentucky said "I do" in a very unusual venue. How about a store's bathroom? Okay, that is where it happened. This is Logan and Tiana Abney. They tied the knot inside of a Hop Shop convenience store in northern Kentucky. Okay, that is where they were. They had their friends and family, and as you can see, they're getting married. The pair first planned to get married on the 4th of July, but had to cancel. They joked about having their wedding at the shop where she worked, the bride in this case. She worked and her boss was all in. They say this spot is very unique. People can push a red button and transform the bathroom into a dance floor with the disco lights and music. The newlyweds say they do not regret their venue decision. That is fascinating. All right, a new photo as a tornado rips through parts of Ohio, causing major damage at the Air Force Museum there. That tornado hit on Wednesday morning. Look at that. The commander at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Museum says that a storage and restoration hangar was the hardest area hit. The Air Force Museum's director says that damage outside the hangar was severe, but the aircraft inside was relatively undamaged. A decommissioned fighter jet outside the hangar was also heavily damaged, but the museum's director says it was on its way. No one inside the base was actually hurt by all of this. There you can see that beat up fighter jet outside of the museum there in Ohio, as authorities there will be trying to rebuild. Our 5 o'clock hour starts right now.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
5 o'clock on the dot. Now on Fox 17 News this Friday morning, 3 inmates breaking out of the Sumner County Jail and 2 are still on the run in Gallatin. An alert from police from homeowners.
Crews have been working around the clock to find the missing 15-year-old Sumner County teen. Coming up, I'll have the latest and what they are asking.
And Representative Mark Green officially announcing that he is going to run again. We're going to share what has sparked the sudden change of heart. Let's start, though, by thanking you for waking up with us here bright and early on a Friday morning, the 1st of March. I'm Erica Glover. Jennifer Waddell has the morning off. We want to begin right now with breaking news out of Sumner County. That's where authorities say 2 prisoners are still on the run after escaping from the Sumner County Jail overnight. It happened in Gallatin. And now the Gallatin Police Department sharing updates and these photos, writing that a 3rd person is in custody, but 2 prisoners are still on the run. Their names are William Rutherford and Kenneth Campbell. Police are now asking folks who live in the area to lock your doors and be sure to call Sumner County Emergency Communications Center if you notice any kind of suspicious activities around your home. We're sharing that number for you right here on the bottom of your screen. It is 615-451-3838. Well, we're also working to learn more about 3 different overnight shootings in the Nashville area. Metro dispatchers telling us that an Antioch shooting on Eagleview Boulevard sent 1 person to the hospital. They also say a second shooting happened on 9th Avenue North and led to one person being injured. And now we're getting answers regarding a third shooting on Star Boulevard. That's over in Madison. We do understand at least one person was hurt. Of course, we'll be sure to update you regarding all three of these shootings once we do have more information to our newsroom. Search and rescue efforts for a missing teenager with autism reaching day 5 over in Sumner County. After covering more than 2,000 miles, crews are changing their approach. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us live with an Amber Alert update. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, Erica. Well, just moments ago, I spoke to the Sumner County Sheriff's Chief Deputy Eric Craddock, who tells me he's barely had any sleep. Search crews have been working around the clock to find 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. Officials say that he could be out here somewhere in this cold, which makes it very important to find him. Craddock also tells me that they're allocating resources to find the escaped inmates from Sumner County, but there'll still be search crews here later today to find Sebastian. That's him right there on your screen. Take a look. He's 5'5", 120 pounds, and was last seen wearing glasses, black sweatpants, and a black sweatshirt. Search crews yesterday at a press conference revealed that they covered around 2,000 miles already, as you mentioned, but officials say the teen still has not been found. Sumner County EMA Director Ken Widener says Sebastian was last seen near his Hendersonville home, and canines traced his scent around the home, but that was about it. Widener is asking people to help with the search. Take a listen.
Even if you live in Davidson County, if you live in Robertson County, if you live anywhere in Sumner County and adjoining counties that you think he could have made it to your property, search those creeks, streams, tributaries, ponds, barns, outbuildings, vacant homes, anything, any place that you think he could be.
We know at this time Sebastian's family is not ready to speak with us, but our hearts go out to them. If you have any information on where Sebastian might be, officials ask that you contact 1-800-TBI-FIND or 1-615-451-3838. Reporting live in Hendersonville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
5:04 your time, taking a look at the forecast this morning, and this is going to be how we look throughout most of this morning and afternoon. Scattered rain showers, no thunder, no lightning, no wind, but definitely inconvenient in many ways. Taking a look, rain moving its way back toward the Nashville area. I got poured on coming to the station earlier today. Didn't grab the umbrella. Don't be me. Grab the umbrella this morning. Taking a look, Ashland City getting into it now. Nashville, you're a minute or two away from this really picking up for us here, and it will continue to track toward the north and the east, so to the top right hand side of your screen throughout this morning and toward the afternoon. And this is going to be one of those times where we get bands of rain that move in. What I mean by that is you'll get rain for a good half hour to an hour, you get a break. You get rain again, you get a break. It's that kind of a day for a Friday, but this is bringing in warmer air. Warmer air moves in later today, middle 50s, and then by tomorrow, we're upper 60s to near 70 degrees. So get through the rainy period of today. Grab your umbrella. We'll be okay. We have no problems when it comes to any type of thunderstorm or severe weather. 52 degrees later today, 64 tomorrow, 75 on Sunday. That is a great looking day. Both days of the weekend look good, but if you want the warmer day, the sunnier day, you're picking Sunday. Monday and Tuesday, back to a stormy pattern. No signs of severe weather yet, but that'll be our emphasis heading out of the weekend.
Okay, Greg, thank you so much. 5:05. Do want to bring to your attention an update on a crash we told you about earlier this morning. This is I-65 Fern Avenue. That car somehow up against the median spun the opposite direction, so not a good situation there. Think about this as the drive from Metro Center towards Trinity Lane. So again, showing you a live look. The good news is officers on the scene, as you can see, so they're hopefully going to get this area clear as soon as possible. And then we're taking you to the airport, a very busy spot, typically on a Friday morning, of course. So not seeing too much of a backup there, but we know situations by the airport can change in just a matter of minutes. So we'll continue sharing all of your steer clear traffic updates throughout 9 a.m. In politics, weeks after announcing his retirement, Representative Mark Green says he's once again running for re-election, so change of heart here. Just last week, the Tennessee congressman told Fox 17 News that he had accomplished all that he wanted to, going on to explain how he was not worried about a Democrat taking his spot, despite the GOP holding a very slim majority. Well, now Representative Green says supporters and party members, quote, twisted his arm. Green, though, could run against former Nashville Mayor Megan Barry if she wins her Democratic primary. Coming up, a former mid-state deputy is sentenced for his role in the January 6th Capitol riots, the arguments from both sides, and the sentence he is now facing. And oil showering from the sky in the Gulch. It sounds bizarre. Welcome back. 5:09 is the time, and now in Operation Crime and Justice, there is a former Williamson County deputy that was sentenced to nearly 6 years in prison for his part in the January 6th Capitol riot. So we're going to share what we know about this story. In court Thursday, Ronald McCabe told the judge that he's sorry for those who lost someone that day. Prosecutors say that McCabe dragged an officer on the ground into the crowd and then hit another officer trying to stop him. Now, his attorney says their client tried to help the officer. Prosecutors pointed out that McCabe was wearing a bulletproof vest and brass knuckle gloves. McCabe got 5 years and 10 months, but does get credit for more than 2 years he has already served. Now to continuing coverage of the construction issues that we have reported on so much in the Gulch. There is an oil leak that spilled over cars and has business owners now worried that customers are going to avoid the area entirely. NDOT says an overhead crane had a hose split which showered oil onto the street below. So just imagine this happening to you. A Yates Construction spokesperson telling Fox 17 News that a subcontractor's crane was involved with a leak and that particular subcontractor has now cleaned up the roadway and is reaching out to those cars that were damaged. But imagine if you're visiting the area, you might be out of luck. Right now, though, 5:10 is the time. We do want to check in for that forecast this Friday on the 1st of March. I can't believe we're already at March.
Yeah, and this is the first day of meteorological spring as well. So this is that day where we start going, hey, everything's spring, and let's just put winter in the back seat and get rid of it. And this tells you a good point of the picture. A few months ago, this happening at this time of the day would have meant snow. Right now, we're talking rain. So here we go. No thunder, no lightning, no thunderstorms. But Nashville, you're getting back into it as we speak. Light rainfall has started. Nashville through Vandy, getting down toward Berry Hill, Oak Hill, Brentwood, Franklin. Now, this is light, but definitely going to give us some damp and wet pavement for the morning. Keep that in mind. The airport going to start seeing some rain here as well. Old Hickory in about 25 minutes. This will continue to meander to the north and to the east, eventually through Mount Juliet and getting our way more toward the plateau in a little bit. But not much happening out there just yet. Taking a look, Joelton. Oh, it's knocking at your door a little bit. Little light rainfall, but nothing happening that's too extreme anywhere across Middle Tennessee. This is just light to moderate rainfall that will continue. You're using the windshield wipers, you're grabbing the umbrella, and you're good to go. Temperatures a good 10 to 15 degrees warmer than yesterday morning. We're in the upper 30s to right near 40 degrees. So we'll keep it, we'll take it. We're going to get warmer into the weekend. We'll talk about that and plan it out for you coming up in about 5 minutes in your Code Red forecast. Erica?
First weekend of March is upon us. Okay, 5:12 is the time. If you're just now waking up with us, we do want to take you here. This is the I-65, I-24 loop, and you can see on your screen the trucks are slowly moving by. That's because of a crash right there. The car is up against the median. The good news is you see the flashing lights, so teams are there trying to remove this vehicle before we really get into that Friday morning traffic. But it is an issue. We do want to make sure that you know about this. If you're heading out to this area, again, I-65, I-24 loop, that north loop, just take it a little bit slow until this area does clear out. Coming up, we're talking about politics. Former President Donald Trump and our current President Biden both visiting the southern border on the same day, but they have very different opinions on how to stop illegal border crossings. And in another part,
make them feel right at home. Ritz, a taste of welcome.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Eurostone.
Welcome back. 5:15 is the time right now on this first day of March. Showers is in the forecast right now at this point. We're showing you a live look over at Nissan Stadium. Yesterday, they had an exciting groundbreaking ceremony over there. Our governor was speaking, Garth Brooks, his wife as well, our mayor, everyone over there making the announcement about the exciting changes coming to this area. We're going to have that full story and tell you what you can expect in the coming months over at Nissan Stadium. Right now, though, we're talking about politics. President Biden, and former President Donald Trump, both touring the southern border yesterday and both presenting different visions for tackling the migrants coming into the U.S. Now, Biden visited the Rio Grande Valley, speaking to agencies about their needs. He urged the House to take up the bipartisan border security bill that passed the Senate and then called on former President Donald Trump to stop his blockade. And then Donald Trump also visited the border in Eagle Pass. Now, that area has become a flashpoint in the ongoing border security standoff between the state of Texas and the Biden administration. The former president is pinning the increase of migrant crossings on Biden and claims the president's policies are fueling a rise in migrant-related crimes. Making international headlines, Russia is now preparing for opposition leader Alexei Navalny's funeral today with a very heavy police presence right around the ceremony site. The funeral, though, is taking place in the southeastern Moscow area after his unexplained death in a Russian penal colony. Now, Navalny's family spent 8 days trying to get his body released, as authorities said they needed to conduct post-mortem tests. Video does show police putting up barriers around the church where the funeral is going to be held, while other officers surround the burial site. In world news, the State Department says the U.S. is urgently seeking more information to find out what took place after more than 100 Palestinians were killed in an accident over in the northern Gaza area. We told you as breaking news, this incident as breaking news yesterday. According to the Palestinian Ministry of Health in Gaza, Israeli Defense Forces opened fire as civilians were gathering around food aid trucks. Look at this. An Israeli official told CNN that troops did use live fire, but said it was in response to the crowd approaching the forces in a threatening way. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller says an investigation regarding this incident is underway. Firefighters over in the Texas Panhandle area are seeing some relief as they battle what is now the largest wildfire in the state's history. And the video is just so hard to see here. Officials say snowfall and lower temperatures yesterday, though, it did help to slow the spread of the smokehouse fire. It's the Smokehouse Creek fire, that's what they call it. But strong winds are going to likely return this weekend. The fire has burned through more than 1 million acres in Texas and Oklahoma. Imagine that. According to Texas A&M Forest Service departments, it's only 3% contained as of right now. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is scheduled to visit this Panhandle area today. I know yesterday, Greg, you were talking about how the smoke and the fire happening over there in that area was impacting us here in Middle Tennessee.
How's your car looking?
A little dirty.
A little yellow?
Yes.
That's from the smoke and from the dust that got kicked up by all these wildfires. And then we have rain that moves in, and that rain ends up coming down, bringing all that back out of the atmosphere. So you would think rain might wash off your car a little bit and you look a little bit better. Nope, not the case. You've got those yellow spots because of the dust. And now we're talking about rain coming down once again in the Nashville area, Murfreesboro as well. Hopkinsville, it's gotten a little bit lighter for you, thankfully pulling toward the north and toward the east. But areas like Dickson, you get out toward Lewisburg as well, seeing some decent rain. Mount Juliet, Old Hickory, pitter-patter right now in the windows. Going to get a little bit heavier here. Not by any means anything to worry about, just an inconvenience. Mount Juliet, though, like I was mentioning, about 10 minutes from right now, that rain going to pick up. We go more toward the north and the east. Springfield, think Coopertown right now, you're getting some rain. Springfield moving out toward Greenbrier, and then eventually going to continue more toward the north and east for all of these showers. This is one of those days where maybe leave a few minutes earlier. You know, you got to have the windshield wipers going. Crossville, you've not seen a whole lot in the last half hour. Another batch of a good 15-minute half-hour shower moving your way as we speak as well. Lightning, have seen none of it this morning. No thunderstorms, no severe weather. Just one of those days where the rain is going to be more of a nuisance than anything throughout the morning, afternoon, and evening. High temperature, 52 degrees. Tonight, in the 40s. Right now, right side of your screen, we're in the upper 30s to right near 40 degrees in the weekend. We're going to touch a lot more on that coming up in about 5 minutes.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning at 5:20. Let's take a quick look outside. We were dealing with that crash that was happening there from I-24 to I-65, leaving Metro Center, going towards Trinity Lane. No more. That crash has been cleared out of the way, and the moves out there are doing just fine out there so far this morning. Let's take a look at some other areas of town if we can. How about it? There we are. I-40 at Donaldson Pike. There at the airport exit. Things moving along there. You can see quite a bit of rain has made its way onto the streets from out there in that direction, so heads up if you're going to be out and about. The rain is spotty but very present and can cause you problems if you don't slow down.
Justin, thank you. Happening this weekend, folks across Middle Tennessee are going to reflect on all of the changes that have happened since the devastating storms and tornadoes that ripped through our areas 4 years ago. Hard to believe it has been 4 years, but a couple of hours, tornadoes, we know, bottled across 175 miles of Middle Tennessee, and we're mapping it out right behind me here, trying to tell you how much of our areas were impacted. We're talking all the way from Benton County to Putnam County, the longest consistent stretch coming right through downtown Nashville as an EF3 tornado. Surveyors initially finding 10 tornadoes touched down across the state, with 7 of those ripping through parts of Middle Tennessee. We know this, they left 25 people dead. It was heartbreaking. After the break, we're asking this question. Should Tennessee school children be forced to learn gun safety?
Have F-150s plus 1.9% financing for 72 months available. Some scratched, some didn't, some not, but all with big savings. Town and Country Ford in Madison.
5:24 is the time here on this Friday morning. The majority of state lawmakers want to make sure that Tennessee children know what to do if they come across a gun. That's why they want to begin education classes when it comes to gun safety in Tennessee classrooms all across the state. They insist that kids will not be learning how to shoot in this class, and no loaded live guns will be used in the class. The classes will be mandatory, though, like reading, math, and science. And that was a big part of the problem for some of the state lawmakers.
I don't know of any children that I know of that have seen a fire in a school. But by the time they turn 18, they're probably going to see a firearm, and we want to make sure that they know exactly what to do, to tell an adult, don't touch it, basic information. The Department of Safety, the Department of Education, and the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency will get together and determine the most age-appropriate time for this curriculum to be taught. They will make sure the curriculum is neutral politically, that it is just straightforward.
My concern is the mandatory requirement. So why are we eliminating parental choice and even LEA choice in providing this instruction? Why not give either the parents or the LEA the option to provide this?
Well, these classes will be taught by the TWRA as well as the Tennessee Department of Safety, but there's been no determination yet exactly when these classes will begin. It still needs to move on to the Senate and be signed by the governor, by the way, before these classes are introduced.
Time right now is 5:25. Taking a look at your forecast, getting into the weekend. And boy, have we had a week getting toward it. We're finally here on a Friday. Rain coming down right now that we'll track for you. Going into our 5:30 half hour, just know that our weekend is looking dry across the board. You may catch a very, very early Saturday morning sprinkle. Rest of the day is all good to go, and then so is your Sunday. Much warmer, 64 degrees for Saturday. Sunday, 75 degrees. So we're back to the 70s, but it's very short-lived when it comes to bullet point number 2, looking dry. Your Monday into Tuesday, we will work through a few more scattered showers and thunderstorms that time around to wake up to on Monday and go through on Tuesday. You can connect anywhere you want to, whether it's twitter.com, you go to Facebook, Instagram, anywhere you want to find any of us. Here, taking a look here. Code Red Weather app. You can scan the QR code here or go to the Apple App Store. You can go to the Google Play Store. This is going to help you out for the rest of today. Say you've got dinner plans this evening. You're going out tonight. You're picking someone up from the airport for the weekend, or just someone's driving into town. This will help you out to know where the rain is at. It will be on and off, not just this morning, but also this afternoon and this evening. And again, coming up in the 5:30 half hour, we'll look at your current temperatures there on the right side of your screen. A little bit warmer when those 40s go to 50s overnight, and when the highs go back from the 70s into cooler times next week. A lot to unpack for you.
Steer clear traffic at 527. A quick look here at I-40 at 46th Avenue there on the west side. You can see traffic moving along, but we do have quite a bit of rain out there on the roads. It is not slowing things down in a big way as of yet, but it certainly could. We're going to keep an eye on things, let you know exactly what we find. We got you covered. Steer clear traffic live and local with you through 9 o'clock this morning. We'll take you to other sides of town coming up in the next few. Also coming up, the Speaker of the House in Tennessee is accusing local leaders of intentionally keeping teachers and staff in the dark about the school voucher bill.
Weeknights at 5 on Fox 17.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Electronic Express. We make it happen. You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Now on Fox 17 News this Friday morning, a new bill would allow state leaders to hide tourism records for 10 years, a decade. What this could mean for oversight. And a private school is planning a big new building, what it could mean for students in this area.
Taking a look this morning, rain right now coming down in downtown Nashville and more scattered showers throughout the day. But what this means for your weekend coming up in your forecast.
Yes, the weekend. Thank you so much for waking up with us here on a Friday morning for Fox 17 News. It's the 1st of March. I'm Erica Glover. Jennifer Waddell does have the morning off. We're going to begin with a breaking news update regarding search and rescue efforts for the missing teenager with autism. Those efforts are now reaching day 5. Scary over in Sumner County. After covering more than 2,000 miles, crews are now changing their approach. So right now, Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar is live at the home base of this search, where crews are really setting up at the Shackle Island Volunteer Fire Department. And Karen, what is the very latest update?
Well, they're expanding their search. The latest we heard at a press conference yesterday is that they're expanding west, and they're asking people to help in this effort, which is also new because it is an increased plea to actually get Sebastian Rogers home. Now, about half an hour ago, I spoke with the Sumner County Chief Deputy Eric Craddock, who's in this building behind me here at the Shackle Island Volunteer Fire and Rescue, and he tells me that it's been 5 days that they've been working around the clock and the teen still has not been found. Now, I want to show you how much ground they've already covered with these maps. Yesterday, as I mentioned at a press conference, officials were giving the latest updates, and they say that crews searched 2,000 miles on foot, horse, ATVs, even using drones and canines to find the boy. Sumner County Chief Deputy Eric Craddock is asking people to help with the search, but please to do it in pairs. Take a listen.
We need you to search your properties every day, morning and night. If there's a shed or a crawl space or up under your mobile home or a tarp that's in your yard, check it every morning and check it every night.
Now, there have been many questions surrounding any foul play in Sebastian Rogers' disappearance, but yesterday at a press conference, it was confirmed, or having people to be reassured, that there is an assumption that the teen walked away, and there is no evidence to disprove that. Craddock also says that the family has been very cooperative while they have been investigating. Now, if you have any information on where this teen might be, you should contact 1-800-TBI-FIND or 1-615-451-3838. Reporting live in Hendersonville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. We also have an update now on the competing schools' choice bills making their way through our state legislature. House Speaker Cameron Sexton is accusing local school district and union leaders of not telling teachers about the House bill because they're against vouchers. Speaking with reporters just yesterday, Sexton said if teachers are told they'll get more money, pay less for insurance, and be forced to do less state testing, they will support the House bill. But then there are critics who say the lack of agreement between the House, Senate, and governor on how to do universal vouchers is reason enough not to do it.
Superintendents will want it, teachers will want it, people want it. They may disagree with choice, and that's fine. But the impact of 20,000 scholarships, especially in counties where there's currently ESA, is a minimal impact. Even if you have universal choice in all states, at most it's 5% that use it.
I think it is destined for conference committee. And look, you know, if we get to conference committee and the only thing that gets pulled out is the vouchers, it might not be a bad thing.
Representative Cameron Sexton says today he is meeting with county school superintendent and school board members to explain the House bill. So a lot more updates to come with this big story. We're going to check in now with our Code Red meteorologist, Greg. We're keeping a very close eye on the radar.
That we are. The radar this morning Not extremely impressive. It's extremely annoying, to be honest, because this is not thunderstorm activity that's going to be dangerous in any way, but it is going to make all of our roadways wet this morning. It is going to make you have to use some precautions for visibility when it comes to just seeing as you're heading out the door. Rain coming down in Nashville, Murfreesboro, Dickson, Centerville, Hopkinsville, Cadiz, Kentucky, all these areas seeing rain as we speak. Some spots that aren't seeing it right now but will soon. Well, we move to our north and to our east, and almost all these little pockets. Linville, a good 10 minutes from right now, rain picks back up. This is how it's going to be most of this morning. Pocket of rain, dry area, more rain that moves in. So you get these little brief lapses in the rain that will move through. So Clarksville, you just wrapped up shop for a couple seconds. But about 20 minutes from now, you're back into some rain as well. So find the opportune moments to head out. If you need to do anything here in Hopkinsville, you're getting right back into it. I'm watching a little more moderate rainfall. You had the heaviest downpour so far this morning about a half hour ago, and that rain will pick back up and get a little bit heavier for you in the upcoming half hour. Gallatin, same story, rain picking up as well, coming up in about 6 minutes from right now. Look at your 7-day forecast and a much drier, beautiful weekend we're going to plan for you in your COVID forecast.
Steer clear traffic. Let's get you to the west side. This is going to be I-40 at White Bridge Road. You can see there a lot of trucks sleeping there on the shoulder of the road. Shh, taking a little bit of a break. But then they'll be moving on here after a little bit of a nap. But they'll be dealing with wet conditions when they do so. A lot of rain has hit this area over here in West Nashville. So you're going to be dealing with that. Some slip and slide. We've already seen a couple of accidents. Nothing substantial, though. We'll see what happens when more cars hit the road later this morning.
Justin, thank you. Continuing coverage at 5:36. We are diving deeper into a loss for open records advocates now that a bill allowing state leaders to conceal certain tourism records is moving forward. So what does this mean? Okay, this measure allows the state to hide details about negotiations for 10 years, a decade. Critics say that means if the state uses, let's say, tax dollars to wine and dine potential tourist groups at fancy hotels or perhaps fly them in private jets, you're not going to know about it until it doesn't matter. State leaders say they need this kind of freedom, though, to land big events. You know, things like a Super Bowl, perhaps. Let's go to Franklin with education news. Franklin Road Academy is growing. The board releasing some plans for a new state-of-the-art upper school building. So take a look on your screen right here for the renderings. The new two-story building would have 32,000 square feet. That's large. The plans also include an environmentally friendly green space for students and the school community. The existing upper school building is going to be bulldozed at the end of the school year to make way for all of these new developments. Coming up on Fox 17 News this Friday morning, an Air National Guard member has pled guilty to leaking classified information. And as spring and summer get closer and closer,
with a low monthly payment and 0% interest for 7 years. Shop your local Ashley store today.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Southeast Financial Credit Union.
At 5:40, want to bring you up to speed on national headlines. Jack Texera, the Air National Guard member accused of leaking classified military information online, is expected to go ahead and plead guilty. According to court papers filed just yesterday, prosecutors are asking the judge to schedule a change of plea hearing for Monday. The 22-year-old previously pleaded not guilty, though, to 6 counts of willful retention and transmission of national defense information. Each of those counts, though, could mean up to 10 years behind bars. The information leaked did include intelligence on Russia's war in Ukraine and North Korea's race to develop nuclear weapons. 5:41, let's check in now with Greg Bobus. Happy Friday, 1st of March.
Happy Friday, we made it here. Our forecast here, working through a few more rain showers. This is not the first time this week we've had to deal with that. We're talking about rain that's going to continue here on and off throughout the rest of this morning and toward the afternoon. And here we go, taking a look at your forecast. What does this mean getting out the door? It means that it may be a slow start for you. We're going to definitely have wet pavement across most of the area, on and off for our rain showers throughout not just the morning, but the afternoon and evening. A lot of that will be on the lighter side, but keep that in mind. Rain will continue to linger all the way into this evening. What does your 7-day forecast tell us? Tells us a warmer for the weekend. 52 degrees this afternoon, 64 on Saturday, 75 degrees on Sunday. Right side of your screen, current temperatures are in the upper 30s to right near 40.
Clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's get over to I-65 at Trinity Lane there on the north side. As you can see, traffic in that area is also doing just fine, despite the fact that we do have rain falling out there and it is drenching some of the streets. We had some earlier crashes here, including one car that actually ended up facing the wrong direction after spin out on the interstate. They were able to get that cleared up and out of the way, so we're doing fine now in most areas. This is west of town. Look at all that vapor shooting up as you drive by. So if you get close behind a car this morning, even though the rain may have stopped, vapor trails like this could end up on your windshield and you'll have to clear the way.
Coming up at 5:42 here on Fox 17 News. Do you remember the AT&T outage that was about a week ago? Well, now one state says they are investigating this.
And more. Can't find what you're looking for? Visit our design center to create your dream collection. These great products are also on sale now.
Factory Direct patio furniture sale going on now at Family Leisure.
Families over in Independence, Missouri are mourning the death of a police officer and a civil process server. This story does come after a deadly shooting while the pair were serving an eviction notice. Police say it happened while a court worker was killed, again trying to serve that notice to a home in this area of Missouri. 2 police officers were responding to this scene and they were also shot. 1 died. Police say that shooter, though, is now behind bars. We have an update to the AT&T outage about a week ago. Well, some say they are now going to be investigating to find out what happened. Tell you about this one. New York Attorney General Letitia James says her office is now investigating the cause of that outage. Some AT&T customers, thousands of AT&T customers, you remember this, lost coverage back on the 22nd of February for up to 12 hours. It impacted a lot of folks here in Middle Tennessee. The company's initial report found that the outage was from a, quote, incorrect process while expanding their network. By the way, we also told you on Monday that AT&T decided they're going to offer up a $5 credit to the customers that were impacted. $5. Are you planning a summer getaway? We know it costs more for groceries, to get gas, for just about everything this day, so you better put more money aside than you were initially thinking. Fox Business's Kelly Sabarini is explaining.
The Sable Hotel is located on Lake Michigan, and it boasts a beautiful view of the Chicago skyline. Now, while people set out to travel in the coming weeks and throughout this coming summer, they'll notice that prices are higher, and that's due to a labor shortage in the hospitality industry. Hotels will pay $123 billion in compensation this year, up more than 20% from 2019. That's according to the American Hotel and Lodging Association. As Maverick Hospitality's CEO Robert Habib tells me, the industry requires different demands than labor in other sectors. That's because hotels are open 24/7. When the pandemic struck, many hotel workers found jobs in industries that allowed them to work more traditional 9-to-5 gigs on a Monday to Friday basis. When the doors opened to many hotels after the pandemic, a lot of hospitality workers decided not to come back into the business because their new jobs were just so enticing. 70% of respondents to one Deloitte survey said they decided not to bring back certain amenities and services at all, and that includes in-room dining.
In the immediate aftermath of the pandemic, we saw that people were very forgiving of being short-staffed and slow service and so on. That's all gone to the wind. Consumers expect great service.
Habib tells me he's going to see another 10% increase in labor wages this year, and that's on top of what was already a 20% increase. In Chicago, Kelly Saberi, Fox Business.
Kelly, thank you. What's being billed as California's biggest snowstorm of the year started to pummel the Sierra Nevada area yesterday. So we're going to show you some video. Goodness. Yeah, the National Weather Service is predicting upwards of 10 feet of snow for the region. The blizzard, coupled with coastal rain and gusty winds, is expected to last throughout this weekend. So you have crews there urging residents to just go ahead and avoid the roads, do whatever you can to stay home. I know, Greg, you were talking about earlier how some of the ski resorts were saying we got to close up shop, which is very unusual, to say the least.
Would you hear a ski resort going, we have too much snow, we have to close?
We got a problem.
We got a bigger problem than just the fact we're putting, and you were right, 10 feet of snow.
Yeah.
And there's a 300-mile stretch of area that could see upwards of 6 feet of snow. That's a lot of snow.
It makes me think now when I go skiing, you know, again, to your point, you always want as much snow as possible.
Fresh powder.
But
Absolutely.
I've never seen a ski resort say, actually, just stay home.
Just stay home. Don't do it today. Come back another time. I promise it'll be good. Here's a look at the radar right there in the snow. It doesn't look all that impressive on the radar. I mean, yeah, it's just blue, but it's just pummeling them. Upper elevations, very cold air will continue to come down. So, yeah, they're seeing the winter weather back home all the way here across Middle Tennessee. We're seeing some rain showers, warmer temperatures than yesterday morning, upper 30s to low 40s, and some areas that are not seeing rain right now that will be seeing rain very soon. Oh, Gallatin, I mentioned about 10 minutes ago. You had 10 minutes. Well, here you go. You're seeing the rain right now. Liberty, Hartsville, about 15, 20 minutes. Lafayette, about 25 to 30 minutes. Rain moves back in. You'll get a good half hour worth of it. And look at Cookeville, because Cookeville, you just had rain. You go, oh, it's not raining anymore. It will be very soon. This is how this morning is going to be. Rain, half hour. No rain, half hour. Rain again, half hour. That's how we're going to work through the next 2 to 3 hours. Linville, 5 minutes away. I'm talking about Lewisburg, about 20 minutes away. Coming up, next check of your forecast, we'll look ahead to your 7-day. And I promise you, once this rain is done, you'll be happy, because not only will the rain be gone, but warmer temperatures move in for the weekend.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning at 5:50. Quick look at 65 Armory Drive. There on the south side this morning. If you've got that doctor's appointment over at 100 Oaks, you're doing okay out there. No big problems facing you on that drive so far. Of course, things can change, but the rain continues to fall and at least making things a little wet out there for some of our drivers. So please be aware about that. No major accidents slowing us down yet, but wait till more and more people get on the road. That's when things can really change. We'll see more of that in our 6 o'clock hour.
Let's talk about travel, because in spite of several close calls on U.S. runways, 2023 has actually been recorded as the safest year ever when it comes to flying commercial. That also means traveling by plane remains the safest form of travel, according to some overall. The latest report put together by the International Air Transport Association found that 2023 had the lowest fatality risk for airline passengers. And that does go all the way back to 1964, when the first ever report was made. There were 37 million flights, goodness gracious, in 2023 alone. Well, just ahead, one candidate going to, extreme lengths to prove he's a real northerner. Would you jump inside of an ice lake? Okay, the challenge that he issued to his opponent. I see Greg shaking his head. And a pancake-themed cabin right here.
Did anybody from the trucking company reach out to you?
No, the trucking company and the insurance company are not concerned with the victim. I was worried about being able to pay my bills. I enjoyed you representing me because I knew I had to have the best.
A live look at the Nashville skyline, and yes, there are some slight showers out there, but the forecast for this weekend is looking beautiful. We're also going to get some more sunshine, a warm up. So just pack your umbrella. Have a little bit of patience as you get on the roads out there. We know it can be slippery and slick, but don't worry. We're going to have a beautiful first weekend of March. That full forecast coming up, I promise, in a couple of minutes. There is a GOP candidate for the U.S. Senate that literally broke through the ice of a Wisconsin lake to challenge an opponent. This is something I would never do, but Eric Hovde posted the challenge on social media, asking the Democratic challenger, Senator Tammy Baldwin, to go ahead and do the same. Okay, look at the video, make your own decision. The multimillionaire Republican trying to prove, he says, that he is, quote, a Wisconsinite, and that Baldwin and other officials say that he's more of a Californian, so he wanted to set the record straight.
All right, this is the first one. It's got about a half-inch layer of ice on the lake. It was hard to break through, but it's good to get out here for a good cold plunge. So the Dems and Senator Baldwin keep saying I'm not from Wisconsin, which is a complete joke. All right, Senator Baldwin, why don't you get out here in this frozen lake and let's really see who's from Wisconsin. I hope everyone has a great day. Take care.
If I have to jump into a frozen lake to prove that I am a Wisconsinite, Greg, I'm not doing it. Well, I know you were shaking your head earlier, like, no way.
I lived in northern Illinois, right near Wisconsin for years. You would have to jump in that frozen lake, the preview from Wisconsin, because they would all do it. They drive across the frozen lakes.
I cannot imagine doing that. Hey, a Wisconsin Democratic Party spokesperson doubled down on this challenge, okay? Doubling down, saying they will continue to speak up about his strong ties to California despite making that polar plunge. Now, see, that's a real polar plunge right there.
He didn't even polar plunge, he polar bathed.
Amazing.
I mean, he's just sitting there.
Could not do it. Let's talk about pancakes, though. Happening now, it is your chance to sleep in a pancake paradise. Look at this video. Eggo's Pancake Cabin is in Gatlinburg, and they are now taking reservations. We told you about this earlier this week. Now is your chance to go ahead and make your reservation to sleep on a fluffy pancake bed and beanbag chairs that are just made of waffles while enjoying a pancake-themed basement game room. I love it.
Okay, Eric, I got to say one thing.
Greg wants to say something. I don't know if we can turn his mic on, but the cabin is available to rent exclusively on Home to Go. There's a catch, though. I do want to mention this. It's only available during the month of March. Greg, what do you want to say?
Your dog's name.
Oh, Waffles. So I need to say Waffles.
You and Waffles, this is manifesting itself.
Yes.
I'm just saying it totally is. 100%.
You know, when this initially, we told you about this story on Monday, I wanted to go out and check the price for it. But I do believe when I looked yesterday, it was pretty much booked up.
Ugh.
People are fast.
Yeah, but
hey, go to Fox 17.
You have a dog named Waffles. You have an in.
You know, go to fox17.com and search Eggo if you want to check out more of the photos and then maybe see if a reservation is only. I'm going to double check right now.
But you look right now. I'll tackle the weather. We'll get to the weekend all together. Taking a look right now, 40 degrees, warmer than yesterday morning. I'll tell you, yesterday morning was a shock to the system when we had wind chill temperatures that were in the upper teens and low 20s. This is much more manageable. 40 degrees right now, the actual air temperature. No wind chill this morning. A little bit cloudy out there because we have the rain that has been tracking in. I want to give you a look at future track. You have some scattered showers. We have to deal with that all morning long. This is through 7 o'clock. Late morning, the rain dies down just a touch, but still on and off, at least through early afternoon. Later stages of today, 1 or 2 little pop-up showers are possible, but much drier and many more dry hours when we go toward the afternoon. It really is more of a morning event for us here. By tomorrow morning, about 8 a.m., the last sprinkle or 2 tracks out, and the rest of the weekend looking fantastic. Today, around 52. The weekend, right near 70 degrees each day.
Clear, clear traffic out there for you this morning. Quick look at 65 here at the Rivergate Parkway area, making that drive down from the areas around Millersville and Goodlettsville. As you make that drive in from exit 97, as soon as you get onto the interstate, looks like they've stopped all the traffic now as they're going to try to move this accident from one side of the road to the other. We're going to get back to this coming up here in the next few seconds. Just know it could be a slow drive coming down from Millersville, White House, and Portland. We'll have an update for you in a few.
In consumer news, Panera is going back to their bread and butter. The restaurant is overhauling their menu, they say, to refocus on sandwiches and salads. So starting the 4th of April, next month, some menu items are going to go ahead and be deleted. I know a lot of folks like the flatbreads. They're not going to have it. They're going to have some others, including the ciabatta cheesesteak and the ranch cob salad, though, that they are adding to the menu. Panera also says they're enhancing 12 existing popular menu items. In recent years, the company has expanded their menu to appeal to dinner customers. Just a little news you can use regarding food. Our 6 o'clock hour starting right now. Stay with us.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Now on Fox 17 News this Friday morning, 3 inmates breaking out of the Sumner County Jail and 2 are still on the loose in Gallatin. What police say those in the area should be aware of.
15-year-old Sebastian Rogers from Sumner County remains missing. Coming up, I'll give you the latest.
And Representative Mark Green officially announcing that he is not resigning. In fact, he's going to run again. We're going to tell you what the change of heart convinced him to keep on going. Let's start, though, by thanking you for waking up with us here bright and early at 6 o'clock on Fox 17 News this Friday morning. It's the 1st of March. I'm Erica Glover. Jennifer Waddell has the morning off. Let's get straight to breaking news this morning out of Sumner County. Authorities say 2 prisoners are still on the run after escaping from the Sumner County Jail. It happened overnight over in Gallatin. And the Gallatin Police Department sharing updates and these photos. So do stop what you're doing. Take a look. We understand a 3rd prisoner is in custody, but then 2 prisoners are still on the run, so please be alert. Their names are William Rutherford and Kenneth Campbell. Police are now asking people in the area to lock their doors and be sure to call the Sumner County Emergency Communications Center if you notice any kind of suspicious activity. Right now, we're sharing that number on the bottom of your screen. It is 615-451-3838. Fox 17 News also working to learn more about 3 overnight shootings in the Nashville area. We're mapping it out for you. Metro dispatchers telling us an Antioch shooting on Eagleview Boulevard sent 1 person to the hospital. They also say a second shooting happened on 9th Avenue North and led to 1 person being injured. And then we're getting answers regarding a 3rd shooting on Star Boulevard. That's over in Madison. We understand at least 1 person was hurt for that particular incident. We're going to be sure to update you regarding all 3 shootings, though, once we do make those calls and get more details. The search for a missing 15-year-old out of Sumner County who has autism and is reportedly without medication. That search is now on day 5, and it's very alarming for folks who are trying to find out where he is. Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar is live at the home base of where search and rescue efforts are really homing in at the Shackle Island Volunteer Fire Department. Karen, what is the very latest update this Friday morning?
Good morning. Well, the very latest update is that 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers has not been found. It's the 5th day that he's been missing, and he could be outside in this rain at this very moment. Search crews have been working around the clock to find Sebastian, but as I mentioned, they've had no luck whatsoever. But we are expecting search crews to fill this parking lot later today here at Shackle Island Volunteer Fire and Rescue to begin their search. Now, I want you to take a look at your screen. These maps were shown at yesterday's press conference. They show how much ground has already been covered by search crews, 2,000 miles, whether that was on horse, foot, ATVs, aircrafts, anything that they could use to find the missing teen. Now, the new ask is for the public to help. They are being asked to search their property, their home surveillance video, crawl spaces, even going to ponds and creeks to let officials know if they have any information on where Sebastian might be. Sumner County Chief Deputy Eric Craddock tells us what we know so far about his disappearance. Take a listen.
Operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off. We have no evidence to disprove that. The family has been nothing but cooperative with law enforcement and our investigation.
Sebastian's family is not ready to speak with us yet, but our hearts go out to him. Officials ask that if you have any information on where Sebastian may be, and you don't even have to live here in Sumner County, you can live in Davidson County, Robertson County, they ask that you contact 1-800-TBI-FIND or 1-615-451-3838. Reporting live in Hendersonville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. By the way, we're constantly updating that story on fox17.com. Well, less than a week after announcing his retirement, Representative Mark Green says he is once again going to move forward and run for re-election. Now, last week, the Tennessee congressman told Fox 17 News that he had accomplished all that he wanted to, going on to explain how he was not worried about a Democrat taking his spot, despite the GOP holding a slim majority. Well, now Representative Green says supporters and party members, quote, twisted his arm. Green could run against former Nashville Mayor Megan Barry if she wins her Democratic primary. Let's check in now for that Friday forecast. The 1st of March off to a soggy start, Greg.
That it is. Taking a look right now at radar, we're always looking for lightning. There's been one strike across the entire viewing area in the last 15 minutes. So, and that's also very, very far north. We're talking barely in the viewing area when you get towards southern Kentucky, moving in toward middle Kentucky. So we're fine here, central Kentucky, I should say. Taking a look here. Middle Tennessee, just run-of-the-mill light rainfall. All the green colors here are good colors because we need a little bit of rain, and honestly, this is that kind of rain we can tolerate as long as we're being careful heading out the door. Murfreesboro, you got a break here for about 20 minutes. This is that time to go outside, let the dog out, maybe just have to get out the door and get moving. You're in a good spot here. Murfreesboro all the way up through Smyrna, not seeing much happening right now when it comes to rain, but that will pick back up pretty quickly. Taking a look into southern Kentucky. Franklin, good morning. Taking a look at rain that's not there yet, but give it 15, 20 minutes. You're going to work into that as well. The forecast for today, we're starting off in the 40s, low 40s. We will be in the low 50s later on this afternoon.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get a quick look, if we can, out and about on I-65 as you make that drive down near the Rivergate Parkway area where you're dealing with the leftovers of a crash where a tow truck has finally arrived to take that away. So hopefully that will conclude all the drama happening out there on I-65, making that drive down from Millersville and from White House in Portland. Let me show you the backup here back behind it. This is 65 as you approach. This is going to be the Rivergate Parkway exit coming in from Long Hollow Pike. Here's a better look at it from our map. You can see the long red line extending up the ridge there. 36 minutes on that drive right now from Millersville. You want to use Highway 31 right in there. That's the best way to steer clear.
Should Tennessee school children be forced to learn gun safety?
Some did it, some not, but all with big savings. Town and Country Ford in Madison.
The Champions Wildcard competition continues on Jeopardy!
6:09 is the time. The majority of state lawmakers want to make sure that Tennessee children know what to do if they come across a gun. That's why they want to begin gun safety education in Tennessee classrooms. The lawmakers insist that kids will not be learning how to shoot in this kind of a class. No loaded guns will ever be used, and the classes will be mandatory, just like reading, math, and science. Those who voted for this bill believe it will honestly save lives.
How many children's lives would have been saved had these gun safety classes been made available and that child wouldn't have picked up a gun in their household or in the car and shot their brother, their sister, their parent? We have many, many children dying because they are ignorant to what these weapons do.
We should be taking action to make adults responsible. We should be passing laws dealing with safe storage. We should be dealing and passing laws that raise the punishment for people who are irresponsible with their guns. And that has not happened.
These classes will be taught by the TWRA as well as the Tennessee Department of Safety. They will be the ones that will determine exactly which grade level that these classes will be introduced.
6:11 your time. Look at your code red forecast and no code red weather, just rainy here to kick off the morning. Steady light rainfall, and we're going to get in kind of wave after wave kind of a pattern here. Half hour of rain, we get a little break, half hour of rain. That's how this morning is going to go for us here. Not as cold as yesterday morning. We had 20s to wake up to yesterday this morning. Upper 30s to right near 40. Warmer later on this afternoon. Not by much, but a couple clicks warmer than yesterday. We'll go low to middle 50s. Umbrellas necessary. Not raining the entire afternoon. The bulk of our rain going to be this morning. Here's 7 o'clock, taking us through 8 and 9. And then a few little waves in the back end of the initial rain we're seeing right now. Afternoon. 1 or 2 little pop-ups. This is 4 p.m. Not much happening. Fairly cloudy. And again, temperatures only in the low 50s. Right side of your screen, you are waking up in the upper 30s to low 40s. So a pretty decent start. And then by tomorrow morning, all the rain begins to die down. The afternoon, nice and dry. Your 7-day forecast. Taking a look, 52 degrees. Your temperature today, 64 tomorrow, 75 on Sunday. Both days of the weekend going to be dry.
Steer clear traffic dealing with the crash on 65 at the Rivergate Parkway area as you make that drive in from Goodlettsville, Hendersonville, Millersville, places like that. You're going to run into this, but not for long. They're about to tow this away, and when they do, things will clear up nicely, making that drive in from the north side. So hopefully this will not be with us for much longer. Other drives out there, let's go to I-24. This is I-24 in Laverne. Good morning out there in Rutherford County. That drive coming along very nicely, even though people are taking it slow, and that's good because a lot of the roads are wet and will continue to be wet here throughout the morning. Well, coming up, former President Trump and President Biden both visited the southern border with the United States, Texas, and Mexico. they've got different opinions on how to stop illegal border crossings. And in another part of Texas, wildfire.
Powertrain for life with your new Nissan here at North Nashville's Nissan of Rivergate in Madison.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Zander Insurance.
Good morning and happy Friday to you. We're going to take you to a live look of Lower Broadway. It's soggy out there, but the good news is the light showers are not expected to continue on for the rest of this Friday. And later in this newscast, we're going to talk about the Predators. They had quite the night yesterday, and we're going to talk about what the big win means for their playoff chances. But again, don't worry about the showers for this first day of March. Not going to stick around for the entire weekend. Let's talk about politics, though. President Biden and former President Donald Trump both touring the southern border, but presenting very different visions for tackling the migrants coming into the U.S. Now, Biden visited the Rio Grande Valley, speaking to agencies about their needs. Biden urged the House to take up the bipartisan border security bill that passed the Senate, and then he also called on former President Donald Trump to stop his blockade. And then Donald Trump also visited the border, but over in Eagle Pass, so a different area. Also showing you video, though. That area has become a flashpoint in the border security standoff between the state of Texas and the Biden administration. The former president is pinning the increase of migrant crossings on Biden and claims the president's policies are fueling a rise in migrant-related crimes. World news now. The State Department says the U.S. is urgently seeking more information on what took place after more than 100 Palestinians were killed in an incident in the northern Gaza area. And the video is difficult to see right here. According to the Palestinian Ministry of Health in Gaza, Israel Defense Forces opened fire as civilians were gathering around food aid trucks. That's what you're looking at here. An Israeli official telling CNN that IDF troops did use live fire, but said it was in response to the crowd approaching the forces in what they describe as a threatening way. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller says an investigation is currently underway and very much ongoing.
We've seen the reports from the government of Israel. We've seen accounts from local Palestinians who were on the scene. We don't have ground truth on what happened. We know what we've seen people say publicly, and we're seeking more information and looking for the results of the investigation.
Matthew Miller, you just heard from there, also expressed the U.S.'s condolences to the families of those who died. Miller says the incident underlines the importance of expanding the flow of humanitarian assistance into Gaza, including through a temporary ceasefire agreement. Let's talk about Texas. Firefighters in the Texas Panhandle seeing some relief as they battle what is now the largest wildfire in their state's history. Officials say snowfall and then lower temperatures just yesterday. That did help to slow the spread of the Smokehouse Creek fire. That's what they're calling it. But then the strong winds are likely returning this weekend. Bad timing. The fire has burned through more than 1 million acres of Texas and Oklahoma. According to the Texas A&M Forest Service, right now it's only 3% contained. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is scheduled to go ahead and visit the Panhandles today, so we will have some more updates out of Texas and Oklahoma over the next couple of days. We do want to bring it back home to Middle Tennessee because folks are waking up, Greg, to those light showers, and they're thinking, really, on the first day of March? Come on, let's get some sunshine.
We'll get some by the weekend.
Okay.
But today's kind of that thing where yesterday we had the temperatures that were in the 20s, and we wanted to get warmer air. But in order to get warmer air, some sort of weather thing has to come in, and this is a warm front, bringing in warmer air and also bringing in some light rain showers here this morning. We're going to have temperatures that go from the upper 30s and low 40s this morning, which is a good 10 to 15 degrees warmer than yesterday, up to the lower 50s, middle 50s if we're lucky this afternoon. With the rain is coming down Portland through Gallatin, Nashville. We're all seeing it here this morning. Hopkinsville has not really let up for you guys. It's been kind of light, then heavy, then light, then heavy. You haven't gotten many that breaks in the rainfall. Murfreesboro, you're up pretty soon too, so just keep it in mind. This will be one of those days where we're going to have to deal with a morning full of on and off rain showers, about 7 to 10 minutes. In Murfreesboro, you go from a sprinkle back to some more steady light rainfall. Franklin, you're in it now. This continues to move toward the north and to the east. All of our showers going from the bottom left-hand side of your screen all the way to the top right-hand side of your screen. Lafayette, it's literally starting as we're speaking right now. And this is one of those mornings only mainly because the afternoon, not going to be as rough to deal with, but wet pavement, not quite as cold. Grab the umbrella as you head out. Look at temperatures though. Erica wants some sunshine. Well, let's give it to Erica. Let's get some sunshine for Saturday and Sunday. Not a completely sunny day, but look at the temperatures. 64 on Saturday. We're talking 75 and partly cloudy on Sunday. Not much of a breeze. Take advantage of your weekend because Monday and Tuesday, scattered storms return back into the forecast.
Steer clear traffic this morning. Let's get a look here at I-24. This is at Bell Road, dealing with a disabled vehicle there on the shoulder. You just saw a TDOT truck pass it there. So apparently not that big of a priority for the folks out there, as maybe they have other things to get to that we could talk about here in the next few minutes. But right now, I've been watching this, and this is just an example of what can happen here out there on the road. So watch out for that car on the shoulder. Other things we're watching is your drive times. Mount Juliet into downtown at 27 minutes. Murfreesboro at nearly an hour down I-24. Franklin at 26 minutes. Still early in the rush hour for Franklin. That really picks up starting after 7.
Justin, thank you. Happening this weekend, folks across Middle Tennessee, all of us are really reflecting on the continuing changes since devastating tornadoes ripped through 4 years ago, Greg.
Yeah, 4 years ago. And a lot of us watching this morning might not even have been here 4 years ago. But I'm telling you right now, this was one of those mornings where we woke up around midnight and it was really rough. We had multiple tornadoes and a real big one that clipped North Nashville into East Nashville, and it was not fun. We had about 175 miles worth of Middle Tennessee that had tornadoes, and EF3 went through the Nashville area. 25 lives lost, over 300 injuries, and we're only 4 years out from this, and some places are still recovering.
Yeah, and I do know we have some drone video and that we want to show you this morning talking about just how intense these storms were. So surveyors finding 10 tornadoes, Greg, that you mentioned that touched down across the state, 7 of those ripping through parts of Middle Tennessee. It was just such a difficult, not just day, weeks, months, and we're still continuing to recover from all of this.
And not only are we recovering, but the landscape of all the areas that were hit have drastically changed in many ways, shapes, and forms as well. Again, the 25 lives lost, a lot of those were out toward our eastern counties here in the middle of the night. That's why we always stress trying to find ways to stay safe. But I'll tell you this right now, no severe weather in the forecast for the immediate future, but this is one of those things we cannot forget. It's very easy to let your guard down when you don't remember what has happened recently.
Absolutely.
So it's a big thing to remind ourselves, because we hadn't really had a big outbreak in Middle Tennessee right near Nashville since 1998 until this happened in 2020.
So our Fox 17 Sky Eye catching that terrible video, the drone video. We're going to continue sharing that, though, and talk about how we've come so far and what we have left to do, right, regarding all those deadly tornadoes throughout this morning's newscast. Coming up, though, we're also discussing a big groundbreaking for the new Nissan Stadium. We're going to share what local leaders have to say about the future. It's going to look a whole lot different. And a decisive win for our Nashville Predators. We'll talk about.
I knew when you'd say something to me, I didn't have to wonder if you were telling me the truth.
Watch Crisis in the Classroom only on Fox 17 News.
Welcome back. Just about 6:25, a historic moment for the Titans as they officially break ground on a new domed stadium. Okay, this project has been years in the making. But don't get too excited, okay? It's not going to be ready for fans until 2027. We got a while to go here, but some milestones are coming sooner than some might expect. Up to half of the outside of the stadium is expected to be done before the 2024 NFL season. All right. And the rest of the outside structure is planned to be completed by 2025. So yeah, we're going to see it sooner rather than later. That's a good update. But we do want to know what you think about this, okay? So head on over to our Fox Nashville X account. We're asking this question. Which feature are you most excited about at the new Nissan Stadium? All right, y'all. Now, 47% of y'all say you're not excited. But there is 36.9% of you all saying you're excited about the dome. Let us know what you think. Sound off by heading to our Fox Nashville X account or go to our Fox Nashville Facebook page. You can see more of those renderings and let us know what you think about the new Titans Stadium. Let's talk about hockey, though. A wild matchup last night as Nashville took on Minnesota over at Bridgestone Arena and blew them out of the water a bit, okay? I think a lot. With a 6-1 win. Here's how it all happened, though. Preds were up 3-1 by the end of the second period, but they really turned on the power in the third period to get a 6-1 home win. It was such a great night for Roman Josi in particular, with 1 goal, 2 assists, and just so you know, the Preds are currently in the second wild card spot for the Stanley Cup playoffs. Ooh, so exciting. Let's talk about the forecast, though. We are marching into spring. And we do want to know what's happening this weekend, right? Because you're waking up, you're seeing those showers, and you're thinking, is it going to be like this all day? It's not going to be like this all day, and it's certainly not going to be like this over the weekend. Look at this forecast for Saturday. Partly cloudy, but a high of 64. And then Sunday, going to be breezy, but a high of 75. Listen, we will take that for the first full weekend of March. Greg stepped out, so I'm just letting y'all know this weekend is going to be fantastic. Get outside, make those plans now, and just get out there and enjoy. Right now, though, we got to check in for your Steer Clear traffic update.
All right, everyone. Steer Clear traffic takes us this time to I-24 at Old Hickory Boulevard as you make that drive in from Antioch and Cane Ridge. We are doing okay out there so far. No big problems to tell you about out there on the interstates. We are picking up some other things happening out there near the Bradley Parkway area, for instance. We're going to have to get to that coming up here in our 6:30 half hour. Also want to show you, though, that things can slow down very quickly in the last few seconds here. We've even seen the traffic starting to slow a little bit as you make that drive in through Antioch and Cane Ridge. So heads up on that. Drive time right now from Murfreesboro, just over an hour. Just crossed that threshold a short time ago. Other than that, I-40 near Dallas and Bank, we're doing fine if you got that early morning flight.
Happening next, the Speaker of the Tennessee House accusing local leaders of intentionally keeping teachers and staff in the dark. We're going to explain what he means exactly when it comes to the school voucher bill and how it impacts you.
The search for
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
6:31 on the dot. Now on Fox 17 News this Friday morning, there is a new bill that would allow state leaders to hide tourism records for 10 years. We're going to tell you what this could mean for oversight. And a private school is planning a big new building, what it could mean for students in this area. Fox 17 News keeping a very close eye on this dreary Friday morning, the 1st of March. But listen, the showers are not going to stick around for too much longer. We have a wonderful weekend on tap, your full forecast and traffic reports in a couple of minutes. Let's start, though, by thanking you for waking up with us here on a Friday morning on the 1st of March. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover. Jennifer Waddell has the morning off. Let's get right to a breaking news update involving the search for a missing 15-year-old out of Sumner County who has autism and is reportedly without medication. That search now entering day 5. Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar joining us live with an update on search and rescue efforts.
Good morning, Erica. Well, here at the Shackle Island Volunteer Fire and Rescue, we've already seen several cars, just like the one that passed behind me, come into this parking lot to begin their search for the 5th day to find 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers, who, as you mentioned, is without his medication. Now, what we know so far is that Rogers was last seen near his home on Monday, wearing glasses, black sweatpants, and a black sweatshirt. We got a tip from someone that search crews will actually be focusing their search around that home. We are working to confirm that. Now, just yesterday, officials updated the public on where they are in their search, and they say that they have not been able to find Rogers. And you can just tell that by the amount of cars that you are seeing in this parking lot, ready to begin their search on foot, horse, ATV, and even helicopters. Officials say that at this time that they are asking for the public's help. They are asking people to search their properties, their home surveillance videos, even ponds and creeks. Sumner County Chief Deputy Eric Craddock tells us more about what you can do to help find Sebastian.
Look for any details that something has been disturbed. If there's a shirt that was there today that wasn't there yesterday, notify us. You can really help us by searching your own property twice a day.
Well, I believe that was actually Ken Widener, the Sumner County EMA director. But again, the message is the same. He wants people to search wherever they can to find Sebastian, to hopefully bring his family some peace. If you have any information on where Sebastian could be, you should contact 1-800-TBI-FIND or 1-615-451-3838. Reporting live in Hendersonville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Okay, Karen, thank you. We also have an update regarding the competing school choice bills that are making their way through our state legislature. House Speaker Cameron Sexton is accusing local school district and union leaders of not telling teachers, he says, about the House bill because they're against vouchers. Speaking to reporters yesterday, Sexton said if teachers are told they'll get more money, pay less for insurance, and be forced to do less state testing, they will then support the House bill. But critics say the lack of agreement between the House, Senate, and governor on how to do universal vouchers is reason enough not to do it.
Superintendents will want it, teachers will want it, people want it. They may disagree with choice, and that's fine. But the impact of 20,000 scholarships, especially in counties where there's currently ESA, is a minimal impact. Even if you have universal choice in all states, at most it's 5% that use it.
I think it is destined for conference committee. And look, you know, if we get to conference committee and the only thing that gets pulled out is the vouchers, it might not be a bad thing.
Well, Sexton says he is meeting today with his county school superintendent and school board to explain that House bill. Hey, Greg, I just got really excited because it's March 1st, which means 18 days until meteorological. Did I say that wrong? Yes, I did.
You did. Today's meteorological spring. You mean to the actual calendar says we're hitting spring,
There
right?
we go, the
There
actual
we go.
calendar. You know what I mean.
Either way you look at it, Erica, it's nicer out right now than it was yesterday, so we'll take that. And the weekend could not be better. We're going to be in the 60s and 70s, so we can call it whatever we want. We're just going to call it nice and comfortable. Taking a look here at your Doppler radar. This is not great, but it's not as bad as it was a few mornings ago when we had the line of thunderstorms that rolled through the entire area. This is just run-of-the-mill rain, but it is steady, it is consistent, it is limiting visibility in many spots. It is going to continue to be like this for most of this morning. Shelbyville, you're starting to see a few more light raindrops moving in. If you're in areas like Lewisburg, it's ending, at least for right now, but we're going to continue to get more droves of this throughout the morning hours. Sparta picking up for you guys, but if you go more toward the south and the west, we're still seeing those broken showers move through. Look at the giant circled area here. Some drier air moving in. There'll be a few more of these pop-ups, but most of our afternoon going to be more on the drier side, and we'll focus on that coming up in a couple minutes.
All right, everybody, steer clear traffic this morning. Well, we were going to get to it before my computer decided not work with us here.
Computer's on the weekend already, huh?
Yes, it's taking a weekend. We're going to get back to steer clear traffic coming up here in the next few minutes. We'll reboot and get started again. I can't tell you there's a crash on Lebanon Pike at Bradley Parkway. We'll get to that in a few.
Justin, that's okay. That's what live TV is all about. Coming up, the funeral of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny taking place today. We're taking a closer look at the crowds that gathered to go ahead and say goodbye. Plus, we're getting some more updates about this national story. An Air National Guard member has pled guilty to leaking classified information. More details in the case. And coming up on Fox 17 News this morning,
pressure to look your best, especially on social media.
Monday on Fox 17 News at 9. This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Destin Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
Making international headlines now, the coffin carrying the body of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny is headed to the cemetery after a short funeral service in Moscow. Large crowds, though, gathering outside of the church as Navalny's coffin, as you're seeing here, arrived for the memorial services. That was early this morning. A photo from inside the church showed an open casket with Navalny's body covered with red and white flowers. President Vladimir Putin's fiercest critic died at the age of 47 inside of a penal colony last month. The Kremlin has denied, though, any state involvement when it comes to Navalny's death. Jack Teixeira, the Massachusetts Air National Guard member accused of leaking classified military information online, is expected to plead guilty. And that is an update here this Friday morning. According to court papers filed yesterday, prosecutors are asking the judge to schedule a change of plea hearing for Monday. The 22-year-old previously pleaded not guilty to 6 counts of willful retention and transmission of national defense information. Each of those counts could mean up to a decade behind bars. The information leaked did include intelligence on Russia's war in Ukraine and North Korea's race to develop nuclear weapons.
641, looking at your forecast here. Rain coming down very steadily over the Nashville area as we speak, and taking a look at top of the radar, not just Nashville, but Gallatin, Portland. You get up toward Clarksville, Hopkinsville, Murfreesboro. A lot of our main neighborhoods today taking a little bit of rain, but not thunderstorm activity, so we'll go with that the best we can. Scattered rain today. We'll taper off a little bit for the afternoon. Warmer for the weekend. All this rain brings in warmer air very quickly. We're going to be in the 60s tomorrow and 70s going into Sunday, but storms next week. Enjoy your weekend, please. It's a very nice one ahead of us, and even most of this afternoon gets to a drier time. Here's 7 a.m., 7 o'clock toward the afternoon. You can see the rain begins to push away, and then a few isolated small rain showers take us into the afternoon. More dry hours than rainy hours by far for the end of today. It just will be a little bit on the cloudier side, and temperatures not all that warm for today, only in the low 50s. Those little isolated rain showers continue overnight tonight, and a sprinkle or two for tomorrow morning. Then poof, there we go. Clouds are out of here, and the sunshine returns for a good portion of Saturday into Sunday with those rising temperatures. Then we'll start looking ahead to the next weather maker, which will be thunderstorms Monday into Tuesday.
Still clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get you out, as promised, to Briley Parkway at Lebanon Pike. This is that drive coming in from the Donaldson area. We've got a crash over there on the shoulder, and it is causing some people to slow down as you make that curve. This is where it can get real dangerous. This is all wet out here. Just nothing but water vapor kicking back at you if you're following too close, even after the rain has stopped, and you can easily lose control. We've seen it several times already this morning, so don't become a victim and watch out. Here is 65 at Dickerson Pike, making that drive in from the north side as well, doing just fine other than the typical congestion, making your drive down from Madison, Hendersonville and beyond.
Coming up, a bill proposed in one state would require law enforcement to report and track anyone living in the country illegally. How that could impact us here in Middle Tennessee. And out west, speed of snow is expected
on the planet are unleashed in prime time. Tonight at 7 on Fox 17.
Tracking storms, what you'll need to prepare now for the week ahead. Watch Fox 17 News at 9.
Let's go to Georgia, where State House lawmakers have advanced a bill that would require local law enforcement to report and track anyone living in the country illegally. The measure gained steam following the recent death of nursing student Laken Riley. Devastating story. She was found murdered on the University of Georgia campus. She was just out for a run when that happened. Well, the suspect, Jose Antonio Ibarra, was arrested in 2022 after unlawfully entering the country. He was then paroled and released. The bill giving police the power to arrest anyone suspected of being an undocumented immigrant. Officers would have the authority to transfer the person to a federal facility if it is verified that they are in the country illegally. Back here, though, in Middle Tennessee, a loss for open records advocates as a bill that allows state leaders to conceal certain tourism records moves forward. I'm going to explain what this means for us. This measure does allow the state to hide details about negotiations for a decade. Critics say that it means if the state uses tax dollars, think lawmakers when they go out to wine and dine potential tourist groups at fancy hotels, or perhaps they're flown in on private jets, you're not going to know about how much it costs until it really doesn't matter, a decade. State leaders say, though, they need this kind of freedom in order to land big events in the future, events like a Super Bowl. We're going now to education news over in Franklin Road Academy. They're growing. The board releasing some plans for a new state-of-the-art upper school building. So we're going to show you what it could look like in the future. Here you go. The new two-story building would have 32,000 square feet. The plan also includes an environmentally friendly green space, they say, for students and also the community. The existing upper school building will be bulldozed at the end of this school year, making way for the new developments. A lot to come for that particular spot. What is being called or billed as California's biggest snowstorm of the year started to pummel the Sierra Nevada area yesterday, and we have the video for you to see for yourself. Here you go. The National Weather Service is predicting, get this, upwards of 10 feet of snow for this region. The blizzard coupled with coastal rain, and then think about the gusty winds. All of that is expected to go throughout this weekend. And officials are urging residents just to go ahead and just avoid the road entirely. They expect the snowfall, though, to help bring the region's snowpack levels back up, which are currently 20% below average for this time of year. Snowpack supplies around 30% of Californians' water needs, so that's how it goes hand in hand. Snowpacks, water that is necessary. A delayed exercise routine for a hiker leads to a lucky break for a stranded dog in Hawaii. Sergio Florian works out in the mornings, but because of a back problem, he started his Thursday hike routine later in the day. He ended up finding this dog at about 1,000 feet high up on a trail. Goodness. Florian carried the dog off the mountain and the pup made it back to its owner. So sweet. Florian says the dog was gentle and willing to be carried for the rescue. My immediate question is, how long has that dog been up there? Goodness gracious, Greg, it made a very long trip, and I'm so happy that dog now has some water and a good family.
Yeah, he clearly enjoyed the water bowl, right?
Yes.
As you mentioned. Yeah, how long was he up there and how did he get up there? And
yeah, that's a long trip, buddy.
I'm just saying, at least he got back down and found his owner, and now I'm saying, owner, watch out next time, have the water bowl ready and don't leave the doggo. But taking a look at the snow you mentioned, here we go. This is a look at California, and they're talking about 10 feet of snow, and there are about 300 miles worth of territory that can see at least 6 feet of snow. They're closing ski lifts and ski resorts here because of the snow coming down. And typically you want the fresh powder, you want all the good things. Not the case out there. They're just saying hunker down for now until the snow passes and starts to get into the next stage. Taking a look here. Speaking of next stages, look at the western portion of Middle Tennessee. Not a whole lot happening. So this is the main event of today. Is going to be this steady rainfall that's coming down from the Nashville area, Murfreesboro, Smyrna, moving its way toward Tullahoma and Manchester as we speak in the next couple of minutes. Exiting Lewisburg. Lewisburg, you're going to get a couple of dry hours here out of this now once you're done with these last few raindrops. But Nashville, down through Berry Hill, you get down toward Brentwood, and even as far south as Franklin, seeing a couple of light rain showers. So 65 south of town, we're seeing it. We're also seeing it all the way east on 40. We're talking Nashville all the way through, you say areas like Hermitage, just off over there toward Mount Juliet, toward Lebanon. All these areas are seeing some rain coming down right now, and that will continue for the next couple of hours because we are just talking to this light to moderate rainfall. It's not going to be heavy. We have no thunderstorms. 52 degrees later on this afternoon. The morning temperatures right side of your screen. We are starting off in the upper 30s to low 40s, and we're going to get very nice for the weekend. 64 degrees on Saturday, 75 degrees to round out your weekend on your Sunday.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
A band of lake effect snow swept across the Syracuse, New York area, piling up snow on these cars late Wednesday through Thursday morning. Snow totals varied from place to place, from half an inch to at least 17 inches in other spots before tapering off. And behold the power of lightning. This pine tree exploded after a strike, turning it into shards and splinters.
That is always incredible and scary all at the same time when you see those lightning strikes like that. Here's a live look this morning at I-24 at Old Hickory Boulevard, making that drive in from the Antioch area. Things are going along, but moving slowly there. Turn those headlights on. The sun is up, but use those headlights this morning so the other drivers can see you, not so you can see the pavement in front of you. The sun is taking care of that, but you want other drivers to see you, and the chances of that increase greatly if your headlights are on. Here is Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, getting close to Gallatin Road. Typical slowdown in that direction. No major crashes here. Just know that the rain has pushed through. A lot of the pavement is going to be wet, and that's going to ask people to use some caution here this morning, slowing things down for you a little bit more than even usual.
Justin, thank you. Consumer news now. Nashville, we know this is a top city for live music, and there is a new study finding that live music does really make a difference compared to recordings. Yeah, researchers looking at MRI brain scans of 27 people while they listened to a pianist playing live music. The participants then listened to a recorded version of the same song. And the study found live music does trigger more emotional response and imagination. The study, though, could not pinpoint if the venue made a difference. Just ahead, a first look at some of the March babies, the first babies in March, and their cute costumes. Love this story. Also ahead here on Fox 17 News this morning at 7, we're going to take a closer look at the ground.
When you buy more, you save more with up to $1,000 off your purchase. Or finance your new furniture with a low monthly payment and 0% interest for 7 years. Shop your local Ashley store today.
Welcome back, parents. We have an important recall alert for you this Friday morning. Want to bring your attention to a mouthwash product that is now on the recall list for potentially poisoning children. Okay, the Consumer Product Safety Commission reporting more than 100,000 bottles of this. Look at your screen. It is the Heritage Store hydrogen peroxide mouthwash. That is what is included in this important recall. The agency says this mouthwash contains ethanol levels that are too high for children. The product was initially sold at various stores and online from October of 2010 all the way to December of 2023. Consumers are urged to keep the bottles out of children's reach. And by the way, if you want to take another look at that, go to fox17.com for that recall alert involving that mouthwash. And take a look at this. You might have heard the saying, March comes in like a lion and then goes out like a lamb. Well, Williamson Health is giving a nod to that transition and their newborn wings. Look at this. They dress the babies up in their little lion and lamb handcrafted outfits. Precious. The hospital system says it was really the perfect way for them to welcome in the month of March. Now, talking about March, we have 18 days until spring for some who say it. I know Greg's going to get on me. I'm sorry, Greg.
Oh, this is one of those things where, you know what, you were totally right. This is all positive vibes here. March 1st means that we're done with February. And February typically is that month where we see our ice storms or one big snowfall, and then March we start to get to better times in the forecast. Look at the weekend. I mean, come on, here we go. 64 on Saturday, 75 degrees on Sunday. Much warmer than today. Today, only low to middle 50s if we're lucky. Looking dry both of the days. I will tell you this, though. If you have plans very early tomorrow morning, I would say between 6 and 9 a.m., there will be a sprinkle or two out there on the radar, so don't discount the possibility of a few raindrops. Those die down late morning into the afternoon. Sunday, completely dry, little breezy, but back into the 70s. We'll take it, 75 degrees. Your afternoon temperature. How do you keep track of the rain today? If you've got afternoon or evening plans, don't cancel them. It's not going to be a washout, but there will be a few showers that will be on the radar. What you do is you go right there, you grab your phone, you're already holding your phone. There you go, caught you. Take a look right there, scan the QR code or go to either of the app stores, download the Fox 17 Code Red Weather app. You'll have our radar, our hour-by-hour forecast, and also the 7-day forecast that we put in for you each and every day. So you're getting our numbers in real time and that radar when you're on the go.
Greg, thank you. At 6:57, we do want to check in on the single vehicle crash right here that just popped up. This is I-40 at Charlotte Avenue, and it's blocking off at least one lane of traffic over on the right shoulder. And you can see multiple crews there responding. TDOT on the scene, a fire truck out there as well. You know, it's slick out there, so we are unfortunately seeing incidents like this pop up on there. But again, if you're heading out to I-40 at Charlotte Avenue, we're not seeing too much of a backup as of right now because this did just pop up. But do be mindful out there, a single vehicle crash. Today is Global Day of Unplugging. It's a holiday that encourages all of us to just disconnect from the electronic world in whatever form you may want to do that. The Toy Insider sharing their list, though, of screen-free toys, games, and activities for your family on, again, this Global Day of Unplugging. Maybe you want to go outside once that rain goes away or just enjoy some drawing, some reading, anything that you want to do. They also recommended pickleball. I know a lot of folks like that. And even some old school bikes. I wouldn't say that's old school, but hey, enjoy. It's all about just taking a step, taking a deep breath, and then going away from technology. Listen here.
We're going to see a lot of toy makers really lean into creating toys that don't require any sort of apps or screens or too advanced technology, just to make play a little bit simpler for families.
Global Day of Unplugging, by the way, has been celebrated on the 1st of March. I didn't know this since back in 2009. I do want to talk about, though, the big story that's trending over on Fox17.com. It is the Day 5 search that is continuing for 15-year-old right here on your screen out of Sumner County, okay? His name is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, autistic teenager who has been missing again for 5 days. So there is an ongoing Amber Alert. We do have our live reporter out there, Karen Aguilar, who is bringing us the updates, talking about how the search and rescue efforts are expanding, how much more they want folks to be vigilant in the area, checking all of your cameras, perhaps a shed if you have one in your backyard, underneath a deck or something like that. So we're going to have her live reports, tell you how you can help, tell you how you can report any information that you might have, coming up in a couple of minutes. Stay with us.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Coming up, I'll have the latest on the disappearance of 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers from Sumner County. Stay with us.
Also, right now on Fox 17 News This Morning, we've got the very latest in the breaking news overnight involving 3 separate shootings happening across the city of Nashville.
And we are continuing our breaking news coverage of 3 inmates breaking out of the Sumner County Jail. 2 we understand are still on the run, so police telling us what you need to do if you manage to spot one of them in your community.
Waking up this morning here to rain, steady rainfall coming down, how much longer it lasts and what it could mean for your upcoming weekend coming up in the forecast.
Plus a huge scene on I-40 near Charlotte. This is over on the West Loop. We're going to tell you what's going on here and the best way to steer clear.
Ooh, that is not good. We want to start, though, by thanking you for waking up with us here on the 1st of March. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I am Justin McFarland. Fox 17 News, of course, your only live and local news source from 7 until 9. Everybody else is in pre-recorded national news, but we've got your live and local headlines like the one we're about to tell you about here from Sumner County.
Yeah, we want to get right to our breaking news update. Search and rescue efforts continuing for a missing teenager with autism. It is now reaching day 5 in Sumner County.
This is after they've covered 2,000 miles of search area, and now crews are changing their approach just a little bit. Let's get out to Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar, who's been talking with the fire department and other authorities this morning about what they're doing about this Amber Alert.
Good morning. Well, for one, they're expanding their search. The latest information is that they're expanding their search west. And I want to give you some perspective of what 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers could be facing. He is autistic and he could be outside in this rain at the very moment. And search crews have been working relentlessly for the last 5 days. They are determined to find him. Take a look at this parking lot. It is full with cars, not just the volunteer fire and rescue, but also civilians. Like, take a look at this car coming in behind me. I'm just going to get out of the way so it doesn't run me over. But basically, they're about to begin their search for Sebastian to hopefully bring some relief to his family. Now, as you mentioned, search crews have already covered 2,000 miles. And I want you to take a look at your screen because these maps were shown yesterday at a press conference. Officials say that they've been searching for Sebastian on foot, on horse, through helicopters. They've been using drones, canines, everything they can to find the teen and bring him back home. Now, the ask is that the public can help officials find him. To do that, they are saying you should search your home thoroughly and do it in a pair. They're also asking you to look at your surveillance video, to look at crawl spaces, and even at ponds and creeks. Sumner County Chief Deputy Eric Craddock tells us more.
We are truly operating under the assumption that there's a child missing that needs our help. So if the public is out there and you have a house close by or not close by, right? Check your property twice a day.
TBI says that Sebastian is 5'5", 120 pounds, was last seen wearing glasses, black sweatpants, and a black sweatshirt on Monday. If you have any information on where he might be, officials ask that you contact 1-800-TBI-FIND or 1-615-451-3838. Reporting live in Hendersonville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. At 7:04, we are also getting some more breaking news update about 3 overnight Nashville shootings. Metro dispatchers telling us an Antioch shooting on Eagle View Boulevard sent 1 person to the hospital. We're mapping all of these shootings out for you, so do take a look. They say a second shooting happened over on 9th Avenue North and led to 1 person being injured. And then we're getting answers regarding a 3rd shooting, that one on Star Boulevard, that is over in Madison. At least 1 person was hurt. We'll be sure to bring you the very latest updates regarding all 3 of these shootings once we do have more information.
We do want to update you on the breaking news we've been following out of Sumner County this morning. Authorities say 2 prisoners are still on the run. This is after escaping from the Sumner County Jail in Gallatin overnight. So we want you to take a look at what the Gallatin Police Department has been posting on their Facebook page. They say that 1 of the 3 prisoners who escaped is now in custody and the other 2 are still on the run. We're talking about William Rutherford and Kenneth Campbell. Their photos on the top and left. So right here and right here, these 2 are still the ones who are missing. Police are asking anyone in that area there around the Sumner County Jail, you know who you are. If you see any suspicious activity, please call the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. That number right there at the bottom of the screen, as they're looking for these 2 individuals right here. The 3rd person on the bottom has already been caught.
Okay, Greg. Oh, here we go.
7:05 our time. Hey, let's get you up and get you moving through a Friday here. We're all going together here with this one that has some rain out there. We have a couple of areas where the umbrella is going to be needed here this morning. That includes downtown. And just basically look at the map. The broad strokes of it are Nashville, and then all the way down I-40, all the way through Cookeville, and then almost really into East Tennessee. You get 65 north all the way to the Kentucky state line. We've got rain that's coming down, light to moderate rainfall, no lightning. Just nuisance rain that is coming down steadily and not moving very quickly. If you're in areas like Murfreesboro, it's going to lighten up a little bit here, but everywhere else where you're seeing the green, we're stuck in it for at least the next 15 to 20 minutes. This is definitely one of those mornings where rain is the big story in the forecast for us. I'll tell you this, temperature right now, right side of your screen, upper 30s to right near 40 degrees. This afternoon, we're in the lower 50s coming up in about 5 minutes. Look at your 7-day forecast and we'll track when the rain moves out and help you plan your weekend.
Stay clear traffic this morning. We are following a big scene happening here. This is going to be I-40 at Charlotte. This is on the West Loop. Now listen, if you're under the sound of my voice right now, you're saying, Justin, there's a couple of places where I-40 and Charlotte meet. Yes, you're right. There's I-40 at Charlotte over in West Nashville, where you have the West Nashville Shopping Center next to the Target and the Best Buy and all of that. That's not where I'm talking about. I'm talking about downtown Charlotte on I-40 as you make that drive towards Church Street and Broadway. Right before you get there on the shoulder, that's where this crash is, and it's clogging up several lanes here, or at least one lane to the outside. Best way to steer clear is really there isn't one from here. You can jump off of Rosa Parks and take that down from 8th Avenue, but that's a lot of work compared to what you're dealing with here. I would suggest just going ahead and giving yourself an extra 10 to 15 minutes to get through the backup. Well, should Tennessee school children be forced to learn about gun safety?
We're going to tell you why some lawmakers say education on guns will keep kids safer in the long term.
And we are, of course, your only station who's live and local with you through 9 o'clock this morning. Not only do we have the traffic tie-up there on I-40.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Tennessee Home Buyers.
7:10 is the time. The majority of Tennessee state lawmakers want to make sure that children know what to do if they come across a gun. That's why they want to begin gun safety education courses in Tennessee classrooms. Now, they insist that kids will not be learning how to shoot. And they also say no loaded guns or live ammo will ever be used in these types of classes. But they will be mandatory, just like reading, math, and science. And that was a big problem for some of the Tennessee lawmakers against this.
We have talked time and time again in this body this year and in previous years about parental choice, whether it's with regards to any type of education, whether it's regards to the type of books our children read. Before we introduce a firearm into a classroom, I know it can't be live under this bill, and I know it can't have ammunition under this bill, but before we introduce a physical firearm into a classroom and mandate it, why are we depriving parents of the opportunity to say, I'm teaching my child about this at home. I don't want them to go through that in the classroom.
Because an Amish family goes where they go in a horse and carriage does not mean their children should not be taught the rules of safety when crossing a street with automobiles. This bill is aimed at safety, and this amendment is hampering the proper distribution of the safety material to those who need it most.
Now, these classes will be taught by the TWRA as well as the Tennessee Department of Safety, and they will determine exactly which grade level these classes could begin.
7:11 your time right now, and rain is coming down steadily here. It has been in the Nashville area for the good better part of the last, I would say, half hour or so, but we're not quite done. We're going to get a little break out toward the Nashville area down right here, but taking a look, we have Beech Grove getting a little rain, and then we have a little break. If you're in Ashland City, you're in Pleasantview, you're in Coopertown, the next 7 to 20 minutes, rain moves back in. Real quick, moving little light shower, but it's going to be out there, and you definitely will notice it. As far as the long term goes, most of our rain going to come down this morning. When we're done, there'll be a few isolated rain showers that track us into the afternoon hours. By no means is this going to be a washout of a day, but raining to kick off the day. Wet pavement, not as cold as yesterday morning. We're not talking about upper teens and low 20s for wind chills. That is a thing of the past, at least for now, and hopefully for the long future as well, because look at your 7-day forecast. Once this rain moves out, like I mentioned, a few isolated rain showers for the morning hours, and then going into the afternoon, they die down. Many dry hours. Tomorrow, 64 degrees, 75 on Sunday. You can't get much better than that. That is the pick of the weekend. A great day ahead, a great weekend ahead as well.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's get a quick look here at the I-40 area. I-40 at Charlotte. We continue to follow that large accident that has happened there on the West Loop. So this is Charlotte, downtown Nashville, right before Church Street, where this crash has happened. Authorities are there in mass, shutting down that far right-hand lane. What you want to try to do is, if you want to use Rosa Parks to cut through on 8th Avenue, you can try that way. But in all honesty, just give yourself an extra 10 to 15 minutes. We're going to be checking in on some other areas of town coming up in a few. Back to the state capitol. State lawmakers are now pushing to make Tennessee more appealing for things like the Super Bowl. I'm going to tell you why critics say the ends do not justify the means. Plus, Sunday marks 4 years.
Across the street or across the room, you have the power to make them feel right at home. Ritz, a taste of welcome.
Just about 7:16 here on Fox 17 News this Friday morning. Nearly 4 years ago, parts of the Mid-State woke up to absolute devastation. Look at this video behind me. The 2020 tornado outbreak cut through parts of the Mid-State from our far western counties out to our far eastern counties.
And that's right, in just a few hours, the tornadoes bolted across 175 miles of Middle Tennessee. Now, that storm tracked all the way from Benton County to Putnam County. It was the longest consistent stretch coming right through downtown Nashville. Right here is an EF3 tornado. You can see how far back it went. EF2, EF2, EF0 weakened a little bit before picking up as an EF3 and then continuing out to the east before it reached EF4 status all the way out there in Putnam County. Now, survivors found 10 tornadoes touched down across the state, with 7 of those ripping through Middle Tennessee. The results were 25 people who died. This is an aerial view of some of that damage left behind 4 years ago. According to the National Weather Service, those tornadoes were the worst the state has seen since the tornadoes of April 2011 across the eastern part of Tennessee and the super tornado outbreak of February of 2008.
Now, Greg, I know you were talking earlier that Sunday is officially the day when this happened.
Yeah, Sunday is the official day. It was really the night of the 2nd into the 3rd. This was an overnight event. And the EF3, what that means, I mean, we give them all ranks and categories for different reasons, and sometimes the numbers don't really justify the means when it comes to what exactly happened. The EF3, Davidson County, think Nashville area, East Nashville, 100 up to 165 mile per hour wind speed. Severe damage. I mean, this is just an example. You saw the aerial footage here. We have entire floors of well-constructed houses that are just ripped off. Severe damage to large buildings, like you think, you have malls, you have anything that has a large roof to it. Even our TV studio would have had a real rough time getting through this because we're a larger structure that's way up there here. Trains overturned, trees destroyed, power poles down. We had 70,000 power outages, 300 injuries from this. And you get out toward Cookeville where it was an EF4. And that's where our largest loss of life was when the EF4 went through, where if you didn't have a basement, you pretty much had nowhere to go. That's why we're always talking about having a safe place, having a plan of action, having a ready-to-go plan for everyone in the family, because especially at night, first of all, you usually can't see them coming to begin with, but you have to have ways to get alerts. The Fox 17 Code Red Weather app, you have to have a weather radio if you can, and just, again, be aware of the forecast coming up. We're your Code Red station because we'll tell you 2 or 3 days out, red lights will go on. We'll tell you strong storms are coming your way. That way you've already got that plan of action. No severe weather today, rain coming down, easy day to get through. Rain dies down going toward the afternoon, a high of 52.
Clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's get you back out to the West Loop. This is going to be I-40 at Charlotte, and you can see for yourself the traffic there being held up just a little bit by that crash. It does involve some injuries. They do have an ambulance out there now dealing with some of that on the West Loop. Again, this is right around the Church Street area there as you approach what they call Capitol View, or the North Gulch, I suppose, these days. From over there on that west side. Give yourself an extra few minutes. Let me show you exactly what we're talking about here on the map. You can see it there for yourself. The way to get by this, really, again, don't get off. Give yourself an extra few minutes. It's just a one little section. There is not a massive big build-up along with this.
Let's talk about politics now. There is a loss for some when it comes to open records advocates, as a bill that allows state leaders to conceal certain tourism records moves forward. I know some folks are thinking, what does this mean? Explain it for us.
Yeah, so what this is talking about is the measure would allow the state to hide certain details about negotiations for at least the next 10 years. Now, critics say this means if state dollars are used in order to wine and dine potential tourist groups like posh hotels and fly them on private jets, we won't know about it for at least 10 years until it really, well, won't matter anymore. State leaders say this kind of freedom is what they need to land big events like the Super Bowl. Of course, the brand new stadium broke ground just yesterday, and it will be ready in 2027, even though I will say most new NFL stadiums, especially the dome ones, all of them get Super Bowls.
So you're saying there's a chance?
A chance?
Hey, coming up, removing barriers to getting tested for cancer. We've got the latest details, including a Zoom interview on a blood test that could be a game changer for screening when it comes to cancer.
We are your only live and local news source, on with you from 7 until 9 this morning. We're following.
When you buy more, you save more with up to $1,000 off your purchase. Or finance your new furniture with a low monthly payment and 0% interest for 7 years. Shop your local Ashley store today.
7:23 is the time. This morning on Fox 17 News, we are discussing overcoming the barriers to colorectal cancer screenings.
Joining us this morning is Victoria Raymond. She is the Senior Director of Medical Affairs at Guardian Health. And thank you so much for joining us here. Tell us about why colorectal cancer screenings need to be done so early and why it's so important to the future of everyone's health.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. Colorectal cancer screening saves lives. What we know is that when colorectal cancer is detected early, it is highly treatable. For those individuals who are diagnosed with colon cancer and it's early at stage 1 disease, the 5-year survival rate, or the percentage of people that are living 5 years after their cancer diagnosis, is 91%. Wow. Now, unfortunately, for those individuals that are diagnosed with their colon cancer too late, after it's spread to other parts of the body, that survival rate drops to 14%. So we know early detection of colon cancer is critical.
Okay.
There are several really great colorectal cancer screening tests available today, but unfortunately, nearly 1 in 3 Americans are not up to date with screening. That's 50 million people that are not getting screened today.
Victoria, I do want to ask you, because colorectal cancer is impacting more and more younger people, and that's something we didn't see in the past. So what is the barrier that is preventing folks from going out there and getting the screening that is so necessary?
That's exactly what we wanted to understand too. So we commissioned a Harris poll to really try and understand what were the barriers to colorectal cancer screening. So we surveyed about 1,000 Americans aged 45 to 84 and about 300 healthcare providers. And interestingly, what we found was that the majority of people said that the colorectal cancer screening options that are available today were unpleasant, and they were actually worried about fear of pain or discomfort with the current screening options.
So where can people go if they want to try and get a screening? Is this something that you start with your normal primary care doctor, or do you go straight to a specialist? How do people get more?
Yes, so if you are 45 years or older or getting ready to celebrate that 45th birthday, please have a conversation with your primary care provider about colorectal cancer screening options so they can talk to you about the options that are available today, and really make sure that we're getting individuals screened, as I mentioned, so that we can detect that colon cancer early. Now, we do have a blood-based test that Guardant Health is developing called Shield. That we anticipate FDA approval of that test this year. And interestingly, when we completed that Harris poll, what we found is that 90% of Americans said they would be more likely to complete their colorectal cancer screening if a blood-based option were available.
All right, Victoria, thank you so much. And knowing your family history is also key, okay? So just stay in the know when it comes to your health. We're going to check in now with our Code Red meteorologist, Greg Bovis. Hey there.
Yeah, quick sneak peek here of your weekend forecast. Right now, not that nice. Look out your window. In many spots, you're seeing some rain coming down, or at least some wet pavement from overnight rain that is starting to get a little bit better in our westernmost counties. The good stuff right there on your screen. 64 degrees on Saturday, 75 on Sunday. Nighttime temperatures in the 40s. We're looking dry aside from a morning sprinkle on Saturday. Nothing to worry about heading into the weekend. This afternoon, more dry hours than rainy hours, but one or two pop-up showers cannot be ruled out.
Steer clear traffic out there this morning. Let's take a quick look, if we can, at I-40 at Charlotte. We continue to follow that crash there on the West Loop. Give yourself an extra 10 to 15 minutes if you know you travel this way near the state capitol, coming across near Church Street over there in downtown Nashville. Not causing huge delays, but small ones there on that West Loop. We'll continue to watch anything else that happens coming up in a few.
Also, just ahead after the break, the latest on Metro Nashville's debt and what it means for the future of Metro projects.
Some did it, some not, but all with big savings. Town and Country Ford in Madison.
The Champions Wildcard competition continues on Jeopardy!
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Friday morning showers for us here. Temperatures right near 40 degrees. Weather changes drastically into the weekend. What you can expect and start planning for in your forecast.
Happy Friday. We made it to the 1st of March. That's hard to believe, but thank you so much for waking up with us here on Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
And I am Justin McFarland. Fox 17 News, of course, your only live and local news source from 7 until 9. Jen Waddell has the day off.
We want to start with our breaking news update because search and rescue efforts ramping up for a missing teenager with autism. That search reaching day 5 in Sumner County.
Now, they have covered more than 2,000 miles using horses, drones, whatever it takes to find this missing teen. Let's get out to Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar, who's live for us this morning in Sumner County to explain.
Good morning. Well, what we know so far is that 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers has not yet been found after 5 days of searching. But you can see behind me with the amount of cars in this parking lot that search crews are not giving up their quest to find Sebastian, who, as you mentioned, is autistic, and reports say that he is without his medication, which could be devastating for the boy. Now, officials say that the search has expanded, and we got a tip from someone that the search may be focusing around Sebastian's home, and that's actually where he was last seen, according to TBI. TBI also says that he was last seen wearing glasses, black sweatpants, and a black sweatshirt. Now, officials yesterday at a press conference are asking the public for their help to find the teen. They're asking people to search their homes, their surveillance video, ponds, and even creeks. But there's more. Take a listen.
We need you to search your properties every day, morning and night. If there's a shed or a crawl space or up under your mobile home or a tarp that's in your yard. Check it every morning and check it every night.
We know that at this moment, Sebastian's family does not want to speak to us, but our hearts go out to them. It must be devastating to not be able to have your loved one safe at home with you, especially in this kind of weather. If you have any kind of information on where Sebastian might be, officials ask that you contact 1-800-TBI-FIND or call 1-615-451-3838. Reporting live in Hendersonville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
7:32 your time. Taking a look at your forecast here. Karen has the umbrella out, and that's what you got to do today. You have to make sure you have the umbrella handy for this one, especially if you're east of I-65 right now. West of 65, a few little light sprinkles, so we've kind of died down on the weather pattern a little bit, but there'll be a few more showers throughout the morning, afternoon, and evening. Nashville proper, not much happening right now, but wet pavement across the board. You can't escape that. That's going to be there for a little while. Springfield, Greenbrier, you're going to see some rain that moves in fairly quickly. If you're in Coopertown, rain will end in about the next 10-15 minutes. This is all light rainfall. We've only seen one lightning strike in the last 3.5 hours. It's a great place to be because we could use a little bit of light, steady rainfall. 13 minutes, Sparta, you're back into it again. You got a little break here. In the meantime, maybe a good time to get the dog out real quick, or if you have to run out the door, you'll be A-okay for about another 10 minutes. Taking a look. Slow start, though, in some areas. Get a yellow light for the weather influence this morning. On and off rain showers will continue. We'll talk about this afternoon and your weekend in 5 minutes.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's get started right where we had the biggest problem a little bit ago, and this is going to be at I-40 at Charlotte. We had a massive crash here a few moments ago. Emergency crews, the whole thing, it's all gone. All gone. So we're doing much better there on that West Loop this morning than earlier in the morning for sure. Here is I-24 near Hickory Hollow Parkway, getting a little bit of a slowdown there. Drive time coming in at about an hour from Murfreesboro right now.
A nonprofit government watchdog group called OpenTheBooks.com, they have been doing some research and they have found that Metro Nashville's financial condition is improving, but the debt continues to create a burden on, so to speak, the fiscal health of the city.
We're joined this morning by Rachel O'Brien, OpenTheBooks.com, to break down the findings. And Rachel, what is Nashville's current debt situation right now?
Yeah, so this is based on its most recent annual comprehensive financial report. It's something that every state and city has to file every year. So Nashville had a $5.7 billion available essentially to pay $6.7 billion worth of bills. So that's about $1 billion shortfall. That's a debt burden. And that if you divide that by the number of taxpayers in Nashville, that works out to a debt burden of about $4,500 per taxpayer. Much of that is due to these generous health care benefits that Nashville promises its retirees. It recently changed how it's delivering those benefits, but it still has to sort of make up for what it owes. There's a lot left that Metro Nashville has to pay for.
All right, so changes for retirees. We're also curious, let's do some comparisons to other cities. How do we rank up against other cities and then previous years?
Yeah, so they're ranked every year by an organization called Truth in Accounting. All they do is look at the fiscal health of cities and states. They work with the University of Denver, their College of Business. So they rank the largest 75 cities. So Nashville was ranked 48 this year, meaning there are 27 cities with worse finances and 47 cities with better finances. So this year, as I mentioned, Nashville taxpayers, or this is based on last year rather, Nashville taxpayers each have a debt burden of $4,500. That is much lower than the year before. It was $11,000 the year before. So the financial condition is improving. It's actually the lowest. This debt amount is the lowest it's been in 8 years. In 2019, the taxpayer burden was $20,000 per taxpayer. So it's getting better. But again, the city still has to catch up with all of the health care benefits that they promised retirees. It's very expensive, so they've got to sort of dig out of that hole.
All right, Rachel O'Brien with OpenTheBooks.com. We appreciate it. Coming up, the ongoing debate over school choice has left many politicians and even teachers upset. We're going to tell you why union leaders now say they're in the hot seat with the Tennessee House Speaker.
And Fox 17 News, we are your only local station with traffic and weather updates live from 4 until 9. Up next, our Code Red meteorologist, Greg Bobus, tracking.
Some did it, some not, but all with big savings. Town and Country Ford in Madison.
Watch Crisis in the Classroom on Fox 17 News at 5:30.
7:40 is the time this morning. We do have an update over the battle about school choice here in Tennessee.
House Speaker Cameron Sexton accusing union leaders of not telling teachers about the House version of the bill because he says they're against vouchers.
Now, Sexton says if teachers knew the House bill would give them more money, pay more of their insurance, and gives teachers more time by reducing mandatory state testing, they would support it. However, critics say the differences in the House and Senate and governor's bill are all reason enough for us not to do anything about this right now.
Based on the initial conversations I've had, the rank and file are in agreement. They might not agree with choice, but they're good with the bill because of the information that's in it and what that means for the classroom.
So there'll be a lot of opportunities, I think, for us to look at what the House is doing, for them to look at what we're doing, and I think we'll land in a spot.
All right, getting a lot of opinions. House and Senate Democrats, though, opposing a voucher bill in any form, and they say Republicans are trying to ram it through before the public really understands everything that is included in it. We have complete coverage, though, of this story by going to fox17.com.
7:41 your time, and rain still coming down in a few spots here, so we'll tackle what's on the radar and then look ahead to upcoming weekend temperatures that are going to be on the rise thanks to this rain we've got here. A little break in the Nashville area, but if you're east of I-65, still seeing some rain. We had a little gap in the rain here. So Sparta, you've had a little break. I told you about 5 minutes ago you had 10 minutes until the rain comes back. Well, you got 5 minutes now. Cassville, it's already gotten back towards you. Smithville, we're still seeing it as well. Most of us east of I-65 are into these pockets of rain, but Cross Plains and Orlinda, 15 to 20 minutes. So if you're in Springfield right now, give it a little time, give it a half hour, and that rain will begin to die down. Plenty of dry air off to our west, but a few more of these little pop-ups that I have circled here are going to continue to develop on the radar this morning into the afternoon and evening hours. By no means is today going to be a washout. This is the most steady rainfall we're going to see for the entirety of today. Everything else for the rest of this afternoon and evening is going to be much more of the hit and miss variety, very light and no thunderstorms. Right side of your screen, upper 30s and low 40s. High today, 52 degrees.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning. We're going to get started here on the north side of town. This is going to be Briley Parkway as you head towards Brick Church Pike. Big crash there that is shutting down one lane of Briley as you make that drive out and about there on that north side. So heads up for those of you coming from the Madison area. If you know you got to go from Madison towards West Nashville, towards Clarksville Pike, towards Whites Creek Pike, that's where the crash is. You can try to take Ewing Lane as the best way to steer clear, but listen, as I say all the time, every time there's a crash up there, there's a reason why they built Briley Parkway. There's not a lot of ways to get past it, so give yourself extra time if you know you're traveling from east to west.
There is continued frustration for folks living in the Gulch. Business owners, too, not happy. So coming up, Fox 17 News, we're getting answers from our local leaders.
And breaking ground at the...
This week only, when you buy more, you save more with up to $1,000 off your purchase. Or finance your new furniture with a low monthly payment and 0% interest for 7 years. Shop your local Ashley store today.
7:45 is the time. Just into the Fox 17 newsroom. Metro Police say that one man is behind bars, charged in connection with a December shooting. They say that Charles Scruggs Jr. shot a man in the chest near the intersection of 10th Avenue North and Buchanan Street back on December the 15th. Scruggs was taken into custody earlier this morning. He is now facing multiple charges, including attempted criminal homicide and reckless endangerment.
It's an ongoing fight to overcome the adversity.
All right, let's go to the Gulch with continuing coverage of construction issues there. An oil leak spilling over cars has businesses worried that customers will just avoid the area entirely.
Now, we talked with someone named Barry Volkers. He manages a hotel on Division Street. He says he's had to hand out earplugs to some of his guests.
The review stated, guests are talking about it. It's hard to walk through construction zones and, still hard to sleep for some of our guests.
Can you imagine booking your hotel, you're from out of town, and then arriving and being handed earplugs?
I can't imagine paying the hundreds of dollars they're having to pay to stay in downtown Nashville, then being handed earplugs.
While business owners say they are happy with how proactive Metro Councilman Jacob Coupin has been about the ongoing construction problems, they want some answers, okay?
Yates Construction has told Fox 17 News that a subcontractor was involved with that crane that was leaking oil all over the street, and that the subcontractor has cleaned up the road and also is reaching out to those people who had their cars damaged by that leaking oil.
Meanwhile, Metro Councilman Jacob Coupin introducing a resolution that restricts overnight construction in the Gulch. We talked about this from 8 p.m. until 6 a.m.
He says it's going to the third reading. If it's passed, it will take effect in May. As the story continues to develop, we'll update you both on air and online, fox17.com.
All right, let's talk about the first weekend of March. Please tell us, Greg, that the showers will not be in rotation this weekend.
They won't. They are in here now. They're moving out before the weekend. They're going somewhere else for a vacation. Saturday and Sunday look fantastic. They're not hanging around Music City. They're going to go find someone else to bother. Here we are. Rain beginning to move out this morning for a few of us. You get to our upper elevations after the Cumberland Plateau. Rain a little more prevalent. What I'm going to do is zoom into a few places here and do what I call a reverse track. Usually you see the little arrow put in front of the showers. Well, I want to let Manchester and Tullahoma know when the rain is going to end. So I have the end of the rain here tracking straight through your neighborhood, and that's about 25 more minutes until the rain is done in these areas. We'll go up north, do the same thing here. Springfield, Greenbrier, about 15 minutes until the rain begins to die down significantly for you. There's not much behind it at that point. However, an actual track forward, Portland, Mitchellville, we get toward 25 minutes. Cross Plains, the wind, or I should say the windows are being hit by the rain as we speak. Taking a look, today is still the middle of Severe Weather Awareness Week. Today's thing is how to receive weather warnings for your Friday. Let's take a look. One way to do it, this is the old school way, pre-cell phone, pre-internet. The weather radio, you plug it in, you put the batteries in, you put your county in, and no matter what happens, it's going to go off for severe weather, even if you lose power. It's the best way to go about it if you have the ability to do so and you're at home. If you're on the go, how do you get alerts? Well, you download the Fox 17 Code Red Weather app, because you can also set alerts for just your county. So say we're tracking severe weather, but it's not anywhere near you. It's not going to give you alerts until it could impact your day, and it will let you know well in advance of what's coming in your direction. Download that and you'll always be good to go no matter where you're at.
Steer clear traffic this morning gets you out to Briley Parkway at Brick Church Pike. You can see TDOT heavy on the scene here with the crash right around Brick Church Pike as you head from Madison towards West Nashville. So if you're traveling from, say, Gallatin Road out towards Whites Creek Pike or Clarksville Pike or Centennial Boulevard, you're going to run into this. It's a bit of a slowdown. You could try to take Ewing to get around some of this, but in all honesty, it's going to be really slow just getting off and maneuvering around all of that narrow streets down there. Just give yourself an extra 10 to 15 minutes to get past some of that backup on Briley.
Cue the music. Titans fans, listen up. They're officially breaking ground over on the new Dome Stadium. Are you excited?
I am excited to see. Actually, my time here in Nashville, this is my second stadium I've seen going up here. The project has been years in the making, but it will not be ready until at least 2027.
But as Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick shows us, the team says it is going to be well worth the wait.
For 27 years, this has been the home of the Tennessee Titans. Home to Titans games, also concerts and community events for the city of Nashville. Now there will be a new home right here in this area next to the old stadium. Now that new home isn't coming for a while. 2027 is expected to be the first NFL season with the Titans' new stadium, but there will be several milestones along the way. For example, the half of the outside structure of the new stadium is expected to be completed before this year, 2024's NFL season, and the rest of that outside structure, the skeleton if you will, should be completed by 2025. Of course, all the technology and the bells and whistles will make this whole piece exciting, but it was also important to the franchise to make sure that this was also a place that represents the community of Nashville and the spirit of this city.
I think it's pretty hard to understate how important this moment is. It's a mark the moment for Nashville and Tennessee. Certainly it's great for our franchise too. We're excited for the team, we're excited for our fans, but I think it's a lot bigger than even our franchise.
I think the future's bright. You know, Amy made a commitment to be here for another generation, however long that is, a new lease. And I think the organization is doing everything they can to be a Super Bowl contending team, and I'm really excited about the moves that they made.
It is for the fans all across this state. It is for the people that will benefit that might never even come to this stadium, but will benefit from the opportunities that are created and the impact that it has on the view that the rest of the world has of our city and of our state that makes us the best state in the country.
Country music stars Trisha Yearwood and Garth Brooks also took part in the groundbreaking and even got their hands dirty a little bit and picked up a shovel. The two of them mentioned how excited they are, of course, for the new stadium to be built, and also how excited they are to be playing it one day. Once again, re-emphasizing that this new home will not just be the home for the Titans, it will be a home for everyone here in Nashville. Reporting from the future home of the Tennessee Titans, Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
It's both current and future.
Justin, we got to get you one of those hard hats.
You know, that could be fine. You know, I wear the hard hat. Why not? What feature are you most excited about when it comes to the new Nissan Stadium? Now, we've asked close to 1,000 people. The leading candidate is that you're not excited at all. 47% of you said, it's whatever. The other 37% say it's the dome part. They are talking about a 70,000 square foot rooftop bar, if I can say that correctly, rooftop bar. And then, of course, the stage for the live music, of course, will be a nice feature as well.
It wouldn't be Nashville without that rooftop bar.
You got to have that. It's like a city code at this point.
Just ahead, there is a private school planning a big new building. We're going to tell you what it could mean for students over.
Chemicals used to make firefighting foam, or AFFF, are highly toxic to humans and have been associated with cancer. Call Bart Durham today for a free consultation.
At 7:56, we do want to get it back out to breaking news, international headlines out of Russia. That is where opposition leader Alexei Navalny was buried at a Moscow cemetery just a couple of hours ago, but we are getting some new video, including how thousands of supporters right here gathered to say goodbye. Navalny died in an Arctic penal colony. This was last month. He was 47. Allies say Navalny was buried after a short service at a church on the outskirts of Moscow. There is a photo right here from inside the church showing an open casket with the politician's body covered with red and white flowers. The Kremlin, though, has continued to deny any involvement in Navalny's death.
Some news from the entertainment world as some of Nashville's top country acts are now being celebrated with a brand new exhibit at the Country Music Hall of Fame. Now, fans can get a look at some of the personal items belonging to the likes of Morgan Wallen, as well as Taylor Swift, Oliver Anthony, Jelly Roll, and even Lainey Wilson. It's called the American Current State of Country Music Exhibit. It is now opened up over there at the Hall of Fame, and it's going to be running for the next year.
7:57. Maybe an indoor activity might be good to go for today because some scattered showers on and off. But if you're looking to get outside, your weekend is shaping up pretty good here for the first weekend of March. Outlook for us is going to be 52 degrees today, but 64 degrees on your Saturday. Sunday gets us to 75. So this little prolonged spell of winter coldness that we had for a couple of days is going to go away for the weekend. We're looking dry across the board. The only time of the weekend you may catch a little sprinkle is going to be early in the day on your Saturday. Other than that, I mean early. We're talking 5 to about 8 o'clock in the morning. After that, we're good. Back to the 70s and some sunshine. A little breezy on your Sunday, but make sure that you always know how to get alerts the next time we have thunderstorms. They're going to come in on Monday and Tuesday, so have all of those tools at your disposal so you know you're not getting caught off guard. After the weekend, we do keep it warm for one more day at 75 on Monday, but Monday into Tuesday, there will be some strong storms that do begin to return to the area.
Steer clear traffic. We continue to follow that crash there on the north side of town. Briley Parkway here at Brick Church Pike. We can see the crash scene. Investigators continuing to work that along with TDOT, slowing things up as you travel from Madison over towards the west side of town. I believe that is a tow truck that could be headed to the area. Hopefully they can get those cars involved out of there so they can free up traffic yet again. We're also following one more thing, and that is going to be on I-24. Can we see it? Here it is. I-24, Haywood Lane, shutting down one lane there on the outside. You can can get by this, but you can also use Antioch Pike or Murfreesboro Road is the best way to steer clear.
Let's go to Franklin. Franklin Road Academy is growing. The board releasing plans for, a new state-of-the-art upper school building.
Very exciting news down there from Franklin. We can tell you that the new two-story building would have 32,000 feet. The plan also includes an environmentally friendly green space for students as well as the school community. The existing upper school will be bulldozed at the end of the year to make way for the new development.
Let's also talk about this story. A treasured community restaurant has bounced back. Once on the verge of closing, they have now been honored by the state.
We're talking about the Ellenston Place Soda Shop. It received a state proclamation yesterday honoring this place in Nashville history. Now listen, the restaurant has been around for 83 years.
Wow.
83 years. It has been fully renovated and is still going strong. Fans of this soda shop have raved about the burgers and the milkshakes and the pie and everything over there. They nearly shut down a few years ago.
I remember Dennis's awesome story about this particular restaurant. You should check it out. Go to fox17.com. 8 o'clock hour starting right now. Look at that.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Search crews are ready to begin the 5th day of their search for the 15-year-old missing teen from Sumner County here at the Shackle Island Volunteer Fire and Rescue. Coming up, I'll have what we know.
Plus, on Fox 17 News this morning, we are following the very latest when it comes to breaking news from overnight. 3 different shootings happened across the city of Nashville. We'll tell you where.
And more breaking news going to Gallatin. 3 inmates breaking out of the Sumner County Jail. 2 are still on the loose. What police say you need to do if you live in that area.
Scattered showers on the radar right now. Who's seeing the rain when it ends? And we'll plan your weekend for your first weekend of March coming your way.
Yeah, let's make those weekend plans, okay? Thank you so much for waking up with us on a Friday morning for Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
And I am Justin McFarland. It is also March the 1st, so flip that calendar over if you're still doing that. Fox 17 News, your only live and local news source with you from 7 until 9.
We are going to get started right now with breaking news involving the search and rescue efforts for a missing teenager with autism. Those efforts reaching day 5 in Sumner County.
It has covered more than 2,000 miles, and they've used horses, drones, ATVs, whatever it takes to try to find that missing teen.
Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us live in Hendersonville. A lot going on behind you, Karen, so what are we seeing?
Well, for one, we're seeing a ton of cars here in this parking lot at the Shackle Island Volunteer Fire and Rescue. I mean, if I just take a couple steps here and Kevin can pan to the left, you can see just how many people are here in support of finding 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers, who is autistic and reports say is without medication. Now, we also tried to speak to people inside of that building to get some answers on what specific areas they plan to search, and they weren't able to tell me anything at this time. But what we do know is that Rogers has been missing for 5 days and that he was last seen near his Hendersonville home. TBI says he's 5'5", 120 pounds, and was wearing glasses, black sweatpants, and a black sweatshirt before his disappearance. Since then, crews have been searching relentlessly for him. Yesterday at a press conference, officials say they have covered 2,000 miles already with still no trace of Sebastian. There have been some questions about foul play from the community. Sumner County Sheriff's Chief Deputy Eric Craddock tells us what they believe might have happened. Take a listen.
We're operating under the assumption that Sebastian walked off. We have no evidence to disprove that. The family's been nothing but cooperative with law enforcement in our investigation.
At this time, we know that Sebastian's family is not ready to speak with us. Our hearts go out to Sebastian's family. Of course, you can imagine the devastation of knowing that your loved one is out somewhere, maybe even in this weather. So we don't know if Sebastian could be in an enclosed space. We don't know if he's in danger at all. But I know search crews are working to find him, to bring him home safely to his family. If you have any information on where Sebastian could be, you can contact 1-800-TBI-FIND. Reporting live in Hendersonville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you so much for that update there. We are also working to learn more about 3 different shootings from overnight in the Nashville area and mapping it out for you. Metro dispatchers saying a shooting in Antioch sent 1 person to the hospital. We know it happened while the victim was driving on I-24 near Eagle View Boulevard. Metro police believe the suspect was driving a black sedan. And then there's a second shooting that happened on 9th Avenue North. 1 person was hurt in that incident. The third shooting we're tracking saw at least 1 person hurt. It was over on Star Boulevard. That is in Madison. We're following all 3 shootings and we'll be sure to share any updates as they come in.
We continue to follow breaking news this morning out of Sumner County. Authorities say 2 prisoners are still on the run. This is after escaping from the Sumner County Jail in Gallatin overnight. So we do want to show you exactly what we're talking about. The Gallatin Police Department posted this photo on their Facebook page earlier showing all 3 prisoners. 1 of those prisoners are now in custody. This gentleman right here. The other 2 right here and right here are still on the run this morning. And we're talking about William Rutherford and Kenneth Campbell. Their photos are right here on the left and top of your screen. As I pointed out, Elvis Bush is this gentleman down here. He's the one that has already been caught. Now they're asking people in the Gallatin area, if you're living around the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, you know who you are. If you see anything suspicious, make sure to contact the authorities. That number right there at the bottom of your screen.
8:05 and looking at your forecast here. Friday morning and Friday showers have been the name of the game for us so far, and that's continuing here, especially in our eastern counties. A couple little light sprinkles making their way back into the Nashville area, so we're never going to be completely done with a little pop-up or 2 throughout the morning, afternoon, or evening. It's tomorrow when we turn off the rain and we get back to some sunshine for the end of your Saturday and all of Sunday. Right now, fairly overcast, 41 degrees. Those light rain showers are moving back into downtown. Windshield wipers and the umbrella for when you're outside, good idea. But we're all clear when it comes to code red. Rain for now, warmer later. What I mean by later is not necessarily today, but the weekend. Take a look. Your Saturday and your Sunday, very nice in the forecast. 75 degrees. Your temperature on Sunday. We'll keep it warm one more day on your Monday, but what's trending to be right now later on your Monday and then into Tuesday. Weathermaker moves in, cold front moves in, and we're going to be on the stormy side both of those days. So no claps of thunder until the brand new week, the first full week of March.
Clear traffic at 8:06. Quick look outside if we can, and we're going to get you to Briley Parkway, very close to Brick Church Pike. We did have that crash earlier in the morning. Last time, if you were with us a few moments ago, we showed you that tow truck moving towards the area. Looks like that tow truck made quick work and was able to move that out of the way, so no more problems there on the north side. Let's get you over to I-24. Here we are, I-24 at Haywood Lane, making that drive in from Antioch. We do have a crash there on the shoulder. It is blocking off at least 1 lane right now. You can try to take Antioch Pike or perhaps Murfreesboro Pike is the best way to steer clear. It's that drive time still under an hour coming in from Murfreesboro.
Well, should Tennessee school children be forced to learn gun safety rather?
Yes, gun safety is what we're talking about. We're going to tell you why some lawmakers say education on guns will keep some kids safe in the long term.
And I know a lot going on as far as the forecast today, so you can always get your weather updates scrolling on the right side of your screen, even during
The Champions Wildcard competition continues on Jeopardy!
8:09 is the time the majority of state lawmakers want to make sure that Tennessee children know what to do if they come across a gun. That's why they want to begin a gun safety education class in Tennessee classrooms. Now, they insist that kids will not be learning how to shoot in this kind of a class, and no loaded guns will ever be used. But the classes will be mandatory, just like reading, math, and science, and they will not be taught just once.
But this will be taught every year once they determine the most appropriate age to begin, then they'll be taught every year the same safety training, just the basics. This is not the hunter safety course by any means. It has nothing to do with that. They're not going to be handling weapons. They simply will be taught what to do, just like in a fire drill, what to do when you see a firearm.
We have a responsibility to protect our communities. We have a responsibility to do all that we can to end the gun violence epidemic, burdening our teachers and our students with this work instead of carrying the burden ourselves to pass meaningful and just legislation is immoral and is a pathetic excuse for legislating.
Now, these classes will be taught courtesy of the TWRA as well as the Tennessee Department of Safety. They will be the ones who will determine exactly which grade level these classes will begin in.
Here we are at 8:10, taking a look at your forecast and a few just useful things helping you get through your day. The first one right here, want to stress this morning into the afternoon. You may have some plans, but you want to get around the rain. How do you do it when you're on the go? Well, this is Severe Weather Awareness Week, and today is the day where we tell you the ways you can get alerts to any type of weather you need. This is inconvenient for many folks this morning when we have the rain, but you can still track it. Now, you're not going to get alerts to this, but you can look at the Doppler radar on the Code Red Weather app. One other way you can do it, and this is pivotal, what wakes you up whenever you are going to bed at night for a fire? Smoke detector. What wakes you up for weather? Either the Code Red Weather app or a weather radio are two good sources. This weekend, no worries for that though. 64 degrees will be your temperature tomorrow, 75 on Sunday. Nighttime temperatures comfortably in the 40s, but we're still talking about a couple of showers that are out there, especially out toward the Cumberland Plateau. We'll track what's out there and when we get to some drier times coming up as we go into the next check of your Code Red forecast. I've also got the 7-day because storms are in the future, the near future here leading into next week. We'll find those days for you as well. Right now, we'll take a look at steer clear traffic. Justin?
All right, steer clear traffic at 812 takes us over to the south and east side. This is going to be I-24 Haywood Lane, making that drive in right before the exit. That crash is consuming not just the shoulder, but also one lane as well. So it is slowing things down just a little bit. You can try to take Antioch Pike or Murfreesboro Pike to steer clear of some of that backup, making your way in from Antioch, Laverne, Smyrna, and beyond. Other than that, we're doing just okay. This is I-40 at Spence Lane, making that drive in from the east side. Streets are wet. Leave those lights on so that other drivers can see you. Well, lawmakers are now making a push to make Tennessee more appealing for the Super Bowl. We're going to tell you why critics say the ends do not justify the means. And Sunday will mark 4 years since those deadly tornadoes.
We make it happen.
Nearly 4 years ago, parts of the mid-state woke up to absolute devastation. Showing you some of the video right behind us of that devastation. The 2020 tornado outbreak cut through parts of the mid-state from our far western counties out to our far eastern counties as well.
It left a lot of devastation in its wake, and unfortunately a lot of lives lost too, and it all happened within a few hours as it bolted 175 miles across the middle section of Tennessee. This storm tracked all the way from Benton County in our west to Putnam County in our east. The longest consistent stretch came right through downtown Nashville as a powerful EF3 tornado right through downtown Nashville over into Wilson County. Mount Juliet was all part of that. Over into Putnam County, where it ended as an EF4 out there and caused even more devastation. Now, people from the National Weather Service found that 10 tornadoes touched down across the state, with 7 of those ripping through Middle Tennessee. Unfortunately, 25 people were left dead as a result of this storm. As you're taking a look at the aerial damage left behind, according to the National Weather Service, those tornadoes were some of the worst the state had seen since tornado outbreaks that happened back in April of 2011 over in the eastern part of Tennessee, and of course the Super Tuesday tornadoes of February of 2008.
And still so many places just trying to clean up 4 years later, and many areas look completely different than they did just that day before the tornadoes came in. Now, we mentioned EF3 and there was an EF4 out near Cookeville. What does that mean when you think about how strong some of these tornadoes are? The bigger the number when it comes to it on the scale, the more damaging and the more devastating it is. An EF3, which went through Davidson County, think north of Nashville, east Nashville, yeah, wind speed of right around 160 miles per hour. We're talking about the top levels of some homes that were taken off. We're talking about severe damage to structures, overturned trains in some areas. We have trees that were just debarked, cars that were lifted, power poles that were down. We had 70,000 folks that were without power when this happened. It took a long time to get it back, upwards of a week for many people. EF4, most of the loss of our life was out toward the Cookeville area. This is one of those situations where there's not much you can do. If you don't have a basement, it's very, very unsafe, and you can't even help yourself in many cases. This is where well-constructed homes are leveled. Cars are thrown into the air, and walls and top stories of buildings completely gone. That's where we saw things happen. And this is one of those reasons why we keep talking about it every year, is because it can happen anytime, any month of the year across Middle Tennessee, any year on the calendar, anywhere across the map. Just because there's a river that goes by Nashville doesn't mean we're not going to see the possibility for tornadoes. We've seen them before. Nothing happening this morning, though. We're calm, we're cool, we're collected. We have a couple of showers that are out there, but that's pretty much it. Temperatures a little better than they were yesterday. Taking a look, though, Nashville, you dried out for a little bit, but a couple more light sprinkles moving in the next 10 minutes. Keep that in mind. It's going to be a little pitter-patter of rain on and off throughout the morning and the afternoon. Monterey, you're just ending rain. Give it 20 minutes. You'll have what Cookeville's got right now, your next little batch of some rain. Overall, and generally speaking, a fairly decent day, a high temperature of 52. Most of our rain moves out, just the most isolated of light rain showers this afternoon toward this evening.
Steer clear traffic out there for you. Let's take a good look here at I-24 at Haywood Lane, making that drive in from the south and east side of town. You can see for yourself the traffic there is moving along. However, we do run into some problems when it comes to that accident on 24 at Haywood, shutting down that shoulder, shutting down that outside lane right before the exit. You want to try to use Antioch Pike or Murfreesboro Road as the best way to steer clear. Now, despite what you see, it is not causing that big of a backup. It is a Friday. A lot of people working from home or working late or whatever, and is leading to less people out on the roads. Just 61 minutes right now from Murfreesboro into downtown Nashville. That's a fantastic time considering where that crash is. Franklin really surprised me. 28 minutes. Not a thing going on in Franklin this morning. Very calm.
All right, let's talk about how politics and tourism intertwines. It's a loss for open records advocates as a bill that allows state leaders to conceal certain tourism records is now moving forward.
Now, this measure would allow the state to hide details about negotiations for around 10 years. Now, what kind of negotiations? Well, this would allow state officials to use tax dollars to possibly wine and dine potential tourism groups at posh hotels or fly them in on private jets. And you won't know until it really doesn't matter 10 years later. State leaders say they need this kind of freedom, though, if they want to continue to land big events like the upcoming Super Bowl that they're hoping to land here in Nashville.
But Justin, you said it doesn't take much convincing once you have a new stadium.
Every single domed stadium built within the last 20 years has hosted the Super Bowl, whether it's in Minnesota or in Atlanta. They all get one.
All right. We're going to have continuing coverage in a couple of minutes about the concerns and criticism over the Education Commissioner's resume. Fox 17 News pushing for answers with reporter Amanda Chen.
Thank you for waking up with us every single morning right here on Fox 17 News this morning. We're your only
savings on our full line of F-150s plus 1.9% financing for 72 months available. Some scratched, some didn't, some not, but all with big savings. Town and Country Ford in Madison.
8:23 is the time. Crisis in the classroom as Fox 17 News goes directly to Governor Bill Lee to ask some questions about Tennessee's education commissioner.
It's because Democrats say she is not qualified to hold the position. So our Fox 17 News investigative reporter Amanda Chen getting answers directly from Governor Bill Lee.
It's been quite the back and forth between state leaders. While some Republicans feel Lizette Reynolds should be overseeing our education system, others aren't so sure. Tennessee's Education Commissioner Lizette Reynolds was sworn in last July, but her appointment has been controversial, with questions raised about the commissioner's place of residency. Democratic lawmakers claim she is not a Tennessee resident, citing tax records. A spokesperson for the Department of Education sent Fox 17 News a copy of Commissioner Reynolds' voter registration card in Davidson County, Tennessee. You have to be a resident to vote in the state, and in Davidson County, there are no exceptions. Democratic leaders also feel Reynolds does not have the qualifications to be overseeing the state's education system, citing her lack of experience in the classroom. They are also calling for Reynolds to resign.
Per state statute, she is supposed to have a teacher's license, which she does not currently have. So since that time, we just started looking into her background because we thought some other stuff may be out there.
Before this role, Reynolds served as the Vice President of Policy for Excel in Ed, a nonprofit focused on education policy. The Director of Media for the Department of Education says Commissioner Reynolds' credentials and professional experience qualify her to serve as the Education Commissioner, and they're proud of the work she's doing. We took some of those concerns directly to Governor Bill Lee. On how you feel Commissioner Reynolds has credentials to be in the role that she's in? I know that she doesn't have a teacher's license, but would you just be able to expand more on specifics?
I mean, I think she's qualified. We've determined that, and that's kind of all there is to say about it. She's qualified for the job.
Fox 17 News submitted a public records request for Reynolds' resume and personnel file. We are still waiting for those documents. This comes as Governor Bill Lee is hoping to expand the controversial school voucher program. This program would use taxpayer dollars to allow families to send their children to private schools. Reporting in Nashville, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
8:25, rain ending for many of us, at least for right now. A couple of showers toward the Cumberland Plateau, and also little light rainfall made its way back into Nashville. These are just very, very light little sprinkles, but be all that, you're still using the windshield wipers just a little bit here this morning. We also do have some wet pavement. Hendersonville, Old Hickory, you're going to see a few of these little light raindrops coming down for you. It'll end fairly quickly once it starts, about 10-15 minutes, but a shower still on the way, and a few more of these later on this afternoon. 41 degrees. Temperature has not moved at all so far this morning. We'll be at 52 later this afternoon, fairly overcast, and there will be one or two more of those pop-ups. What does it mean, though, when it comes to any code red weather today, tomorrow, or Sunday? None of it. Tomorrow and Sunday end up becoming sunnier as the days go along. So good stuff in the future. Taking a look at future track, it shows you when everything moves out of here. Very, very hit and miss for the afternoon. More dry hours than anything, but have the umbrella handy just in case.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's get a quick look at the roads. This is going to be 65 at 24 there on the north side as you make that drive into town. Things are typically slow. So what you're looking at here is nothing out of the ordinary, unfortunately. This is what we've got to deal with around this time of the day. We were watching the crash at 24 at Haywood. It is out of here. So traffic is doing much better coming in from Antioch. We'll update you on anything else happening around town over the next few minutes.
Talking about politics in 2 minutes, a Tennessee congressman says he's going to retire, and then a week later he says, actually, I'm not going to retire. I'm going to tell you what's behind this decision from him. 15-year-old Sebastian Roberts,
on Fox 17.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Eurostone. You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Waking up here, not much rain coming down right now in Nashville. A couple little sprinkles. We're not done for the day, so we'll track what's left and then look ahead. What could end up being a very gorgeous first weekend of March.
Steer clear traffic following a crash on I-40. This is in Hermitage, very close to Old Hickory Boulevard. We're going to tell you about the possible slowdown this could cause and the best way to steer clear.
A lot going on, but we do want to start by thanking you for waking up with us here on the first day of March. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Justin McFarland. Fox 17 News, of course, your only live and local news source with you from 7 until 9. Jen Waddell has the day off.
Search and rescue efforts are ongoing for a missing teenager with autism. In fact, we're at day 5 for this search in Sumner County.
They've covered around 2,000 miles worth of search area right now, using everything they've got, from horses to drones to ATVs, whatever it takes. Let's get to Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar, who's been live on the scene this morning for us in Sumner County, talking with authorities. Karen, what can you tell us?
Good morning. Well, yes, I've been out here for hours here at the Shackle Island Volunteer Fire and Rescue, and we have a lot of questions, but not a lot of answers. What we know so far is that 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers has not yet been found. There's been no trace of him, and there are search crews here in this parking lot to begin finding him, whether it's on foot, whether it's in their car, whether it's communicating with people on helicopters, using drones, canines, whatever they have. And the people that are standing there is actually the Tennessee Department of Corrections. I'm not sure if this has to do with the escaped inmates from Sumner County, but I did speak with Eric Craddock. He is the Sumner County Chief Deputy, who told me that some of the resources were being allocated to finding those escaped inmates, but they weren't going to forget about Sebastian. So it could be a mix of the search that might be going on here. But back to Sebastian, officials say they're expected to expand their search, and we got a tip that they'll be focusing around Sebastian's home. We are working to confirm that. During a press conference yesterday, officials asked the public for their help in finding him, even if you don't live in Sumner County. So if you live in Davidson County and Robertson County, they're advising people to please check your home, check your home surveillance video, check any crawl spaces, and if you have any information, please give it to the authorities. Take a listen to what else they're advising you to do.
We need you to search your properties every day, morning and night. If there's a shed or a crawl space or up under your mobile home or a tarp that's in your yard, check it every morning and check it every night.
And of course, you can't stress those things enough. It is really important to make sure that you do those things, even in a day as rainy as this, because it could really make a difference in the life of Sebastian, who we don't know at this point if he is in danger at all. So our hearts go out to the Sebastian family, who at this moment is not ready to speak with us. If you have any information of where Sebastian could be, officials are asking you contact 1-800-TBI-FIND or call 1-615-451-3838. Reporting live in Hendersonville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Okay, Kieran, thank you. And Greg, I do want to ask, with the search efforts continuing, are they going to have to deal with those showers throughout most of today?
Most of our rain's done. There'll still be a few little light rain showers that'll kind of be very, very intermittent throughout the afternoon. So nothing like what we had with that steadier rainfall about 2 hours ago. That's in the rearview mirror as far as the search area is going to be concerned. Taking a look at top of the way, there are still a few of those showers that are trying to exit portions of southern Kentucky and the Cumberland Plateau, and a little light rainfall tracking through the Nashville area. But this is just one tiny little shower. These are the kind of showers that we're going to see for the rest of today. The tiny little pop-up variety that are very light and move pretty quickly. Hendersonville and Old Hickory, a couple minutes, you're going to get what is tracking away from the Nashville area. Three things to know. We'll have these little scattered rain showers throughout the day. Slightly warmer today than yesterday, drier for the upcoming weekend. This rain bringing in warmer air, but it takes a little while for that process to happen. 52 degrees today, 46 overnight, not bad. Right side of your screen, current temperatures are in the upper 30s and low 40s. 64 degrees tomorrow, 75 on Sunday. Here's how your weekend works. First few hours of the morning, think sunrise through about 9 a.m., the chance for a shower or two, passing little sprinkle. That's it. Afternoon toward the evening are going to be dry, and we'll have those temperatures that do climb. Sunday, very warm at 75, but also a little on the breezy side.
Clear traffic out there for you this morning. Here is a live look at I-40 right at the Old Hickory Boulevard exit there in the Hermitage area. We are dealing with a crash. You can see there one vehicle has left the road way off, ended up in the grass there. Tennessee Highway Patrol on scene dealing with that. We did have a fire vehicle there a short time ago looking over some of the people who may have been hurt. They have left the scene, so now it's just up for the cleanup. It's not causing big delays. You can see traffic wide open next to it here, so I can't not give you a good way to steer clear. You don't need one. We're going to continue to watch things out there on the roads for you.
Turning now to politics. Weeks after announcing his retirement, Representative Mark Green has now officially announced that he is running for re-election. And by weeks, I mean just last week.
Yeah, I mean, not too long ago, the congressman told us that he had accomplished all he wanted to there in the United States House of Representatives. And now he was moving on to other things. He was not worried about a Democrat coming in, taking his spot, despite the fact that the GOP holds a very slim majority in the United States House of Representatives. Well, now Congressman Green says supporters and party leaders, including, according to him, former President Trump, has been twisting his arm to go ahead and run again, so he will do so. He's running against former Nashville Mayor Megan Barry. She's on the Democratic side. She is trying to win a primary. If she does, the two will face off in November.
All right, we'll be following that story for sure. The ongoing debate over school choice has many politicians and also teachers upset. Coming up, we'll tell you why union leaders are now on the hot seat with the Tennessee House Speaker.
And we continue to follow at least one scene there on I-40 in Hermitage. Plus, the raindrops, are they fully finished? They've covered some of our
to humans and have been associated with cancer. Call Bart Durham today for a free consultation.
The Champions Wildcard competition continues on Jeopardy!
8:40 9:40 is the time, and this morning we do have an update on this battle that has been ongoing now for really several months over a school choice bill. The House Speaker, Cameron Sexton, is accusing the union leaders of not telling the full truth about what's in the House version of the bill because they're just against vouchers in general.
In fact, Sexton says that if teachers knew that the House bill gives them more money, pays more of their insurance, and gives them more teaching time by reducing mandatory state testing, he says teachers would support it.
Now, critics say the differences in the House bill, the Senate bill, and the governor's voucher bill is reason enough to just be against it.
Based on the initial conversations I've had, the rank and file are in agreement. They might not agree with choice, but they're good with the bill because of the information that's in it and what that means for the classroom.
So there'll be a lot of opportunities, I think, for us to look at what the House is doing, for them to look at what we're doing, and I think we'll land in a spot.
House and Senate Democrats oppose the voucher bill in any form, and they also say Republicans are trying to ram it through before the public fully understands everything that is in it.
In the meantime, let's check in with Greg Bobus standing by with your weather alert, especially for this weekend.
Yeah, weekend, big deal every week. I mean, we had a lot going on this week, so this was one of those weeks where hopefully the weekend treats you well, and it will. What we're tracking is just some rain for right now, but the warm air moves back in for the weekend. 60s tomorrow and 70s for Sunday. All clear when it comes to any potential code red threats. Nothing to worry about. However, if you're trying to exercise outdoors, you have really got to watch out carefully. Get the code red weather app because there will be a few more isolated light rain showers throughout this morning, afternoon, and evening. Temperatures holding steady in the 40s all the way to noon, and then eventually a high temperature right around 52. But you can see these little splotches of like this light grayish green. That indicates the possibility of a few light rain showers on and off throughout the day and on and off throughout this evening. If you have dinner plans or plans this evening, make sure you have an umbrella just in case. And then tomorrow morning, very early in the morning, 1 or 2 more sprinkles. Then the rest of your weekend is dry and mainly sunny and much, much warmer.
Steer clear traffic out there for you. Let's get a good look here at what we're facing. A couple of crashes to tell you about. I-40, this is in Hermitage at Old Hickory Boulevard. You can see THP on the scene with a car that is not where it's supposed to be. It's over in the grass waiting on a tow truck to come get it. Doesn't seem like there's any big injuries involved with this. Not any big slowdowns either, so we're doing okay. I wanted to show you this. This is going to be I-40 at I-24 right at the junction near downtown. Disabled vehicle there on the shoulder. Not just a vehicle, a big one. That's a big pickup truck that cannot move right now. TDOT there on the scene with that. Waiting on a tow truck, I would assume, or some help. We're going to let you know when this fully clears up.
Happening next, folks are frustrated. Okay, over in the Gulch, talking about how the business owners are also not feeling too good about an issue. We'll tell you how Fox 17 News digging for answers from our local leaders.
And breaking ground at the next new home.
Of F-150s plus 1.9% financing for 72 months available. Some scratched, some didn't, some not, but all with big savings. Town and Country Ford in Madison.
It's an ongoing fight to overcome the adversity.
Well, we have got continuing coverage this morning over the construction issues happening over in the Gulch.
Okay, this time it's an oil leak that spilled over cars and businesses. And now they're worried, rightfully so, that customers will just avoid the area because who wants an oil leak on their vehicle?
Nobody. Oil is inside the car, not on the out. Now, Barry Volkers is managing a hotel over there on Division Street. He says that he's had to give earplugs to guests who have paid hundreds of dollars a night to stay here in Music City.
You know, the review stated, guests are talking about it. It's hard to walk through construction zones and, you know, still hard to sleep for some of our guests.
Yeah, that will ruin a TripAdvisor rating really fast.
Business owners say that, yeah, they're happy with how proactive Metro Councilman Jacob Coopin has been about the ongoing construction problems, but they still want some answers.
Yates Construction has told us that it was a subcontractor responsible for that oil leak from a crane. That subcontractor has cleaned up the road, and they are also reaching out to some of the cars that were damaged.
But what if I live out of town? You still going to reach out to me?
Maybe so.
All right.
I mean, you know.
Metro Councilman Jacob Coopin introducing, by the way, a resolution that we have covered a lot here that restricts overnight construction in the Gulch from 8 p.m. until 6 a.m.
He says he's going to get this to a third reading coming up here next week. Now, if it does pass, It will take effect in May. As this story continues to develop, we're going to get you an update both on air and online at fox17.com.
Make it work. That's right before CMA Fest for folks who are visiting.
Yeah. Well, they're not sleeping anyway when you come here for CMA Fest.
That's a very good point as well. Taking a look, maybe getting up and getting out the door here this morning. And if you were up a few hours ago just trying to take the dog for a walk, it was one of those things you look at your window and you go, when's it going to stop? And you finally go, I got a little break. Most of us have a break right now, but there will be a few more isolated rain showers. So get the Code Red weather app. You can just tap on the radar button when you're outside for that walk, and you can kind of watch the showers get towards you or move away from you, and it'll help you out and help you stay dry throughout today. This was one of those very busy weather weeks where we had to put Dog of the Day on pause just to literally pause. To make sure you knew your weather getting out the door every day, but we're going to start right back up on Monday. Keep sending your photos. I promise we're going to get right back to it, and you'll be able to see them every day, starting next Monday here on Fox 17 News in the morning. Taking a look, 52 degrees this afternoon, right side of your screen, upper 30s and low 40s. The weekend, start making your plans right now. 64 on Saturday, 75 on Sunday. The only chance for rain for your weekend, the first few hours right after sunrise tomorrow, a sprinkle or two. Don't go canceling your plans.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning at 8:48. Quick look here at the wind tossing around the camera. This is going to be at I-24 and I-40. So Greg says that the rain is done, but the wind, apparently it was just getting started. So it's tossing the camera around, not causing big problems out there on the road as far as we've seen so far. But right now you can see where there is one car, really a big pickup truck, disabled on the shoulder of the road, causing some people to slow down, not causing big traffic jams. Is something to be aware of as the streets remain wet out there this morning.
Yeah, you hear the music. A historic moment for the Titans. They have officially broken ground on that new dome stadium. Now listen, it's not going to be, next year. We got some time for this.
It's not going to be next year or the year after or the year after. It's going to be a little while. Won't be ready until 2027. But as our sports director, Jill Jelenic, shows us, the team says it will be worth the wait.
For 27 years, this has been the home of the Tennessee Titans. Home to Titans games, also concerts and community events for the city of Nashville. Now there will be a new home right here in this area next to the old stadium. Now that new home isn't coming for a while. 2027 is expected to be the first NFL season with the Titans' new stadium, but there will be several milestones along the way. For example, the half of the outside structure of the new stadium is expected to be completed before this year, 2024's NFL season, and the rest of that outside structure, the skeleton if you will, should be completed by 2025. Of course, all the technology and the bells and whistles will make this whole piece exciting, but it was also important to the franchise to make sure that this was also a place that represents the community of Nashville and the spirit of this city.
I think it's pretty hard to understate how important this moment is. It's a mark of the moment for Nashville and Tennessee. Certainly it's great for our franchise too. We're excited for the team, we're excited for our fans, but I think it's a lot bigger than even our franchise.
I think the future's bright. Amy made a commitment to be here for another generation, however long that is, and a new lease. And I think the organization is doing everything they can to be a Super Bowl contending team, and I'm really excited about the moves that they made.
It is for the fans all across this state. It is for the people that will benefit that might never even come to this stadium, but will benefit from the opportunities that are created and the impact that it has on the view that the rest of the world has of our city and of our state that makes us the best state in the country.
Country music stars Trisha Yearwood and Garth Brooks also took part in the groundbreaking and even got their hands dirty a little bit and picked up a shovel. The two of them mentioned how excited they are, of course, for the new stadium to be built, and also how excited they are to be playing it one day. Once again, re-emphasizing that this new home will not just be the home for the Titans, it will be a home for everyone here in Nashville. Reporting from the future home of the Tennessee Titans, Jill Jelenic, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Well, coming up, the search continues for an autistic teen missing out of Sumner County. We're going to have the very latest efforts on trying to bring him home.
And we'll have one final.
In and get away now before these deals are gone. Get 0% APR or up to $1,500 bonus cash on the Hyundai Tucson. But hurry, these offers end soon.
Right now, we're continuing our breaking news update out of Sumner County. That is where crews tell us they are reevaluating the search area for the 15-year-old autistic missing teenager, Sebastian Rogers. That search entering its 5th day.
Now, no one has seen the 15-year-old since he left his Shackle Island home on Monday. Take a look at some of the maps here. They are taking a look at some of the expansive areas that investigators have been combing through now for the last several days. They've used everything at their disposal and putting everything they can into trying to find this 15-year-old. They're asking anyone with information to call the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND.
And just keep in mind, it's a story we're going to be continuing on air. Any updates you can find at fox17.com because the search is continuing.
And taking a look here, there have been some decent showers on and off throughout the morning. A lot of that activity starting to end, but there will be 1 or 2 more pop-ups throughout the afternoon and evening. So keep that in mind. An umbrella could be your best friend in that moment where you think you're going to be completely dry. So grab that just in case. 52 degrees later on this afternoon. And then the weekend. Aside from
for this exclusive offer.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
We're so pleased to have award-winning modern country music artist Stephen Cade. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Eric. It's great to be here with you.
You know, you and I have been bumping into each other at different, guitar shows and everything else for years.
Yes.
And so finally I get you on the show, and you got this ridiculous award that you got this past Christmas for Holiday Hideaway. I was listening to the song. What a great song.
Thank you so much. It was great. It was a wonderful co-write here in Nashville, and got to accept the award in Jacksonville, Florida, which was really nice.
Yeah,
and,
that's horrible weather there.
It is.
Yeah,
and,
compared to other places you travel to.
Really, you're right.
You had a big 2023 with Barbecue, with your Kenny Chesney song,
yes,
with Amazing Grace, all these other singles that came out this past year, and you're looking to make 2024 even bigger, right?
Yeah, really excited. Amazing Grace got up for the Song of the Year for a Grammy. It was considered, which was great.
Well, now I wanted to talk about your charity too. You're really getting guitars into vets' hands. Let's talk about this charity.
Yeah, well, we started a foundation. It was inspired